Welcome to the final day of Crankworx Whistler 2013. Can you believe it? A decade of Crankworx, and this is your 10-year anniversary. Canadian Open, that is coming up for you. The final event here for your 2013 Crankworx stop. Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, it's your Canadian Open, and it starts now. And a very big welcome to everyone. Your final day of Crankworx Whistler 2013. It's been a decade. The 10-year anniversary has been going off all week long. But we ain't done yet because it's your Canadian Open DH coming your way. My name is Brad J, joined by Cy Payton, our race expert out here. Cy, this is it, the final event. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, it's the big one. It's the Canadian Open. It's a UCI Category 1 race, so we've got a lot of big hitters out here trying to get as many points and prize money as they can.
Well, you kind of look at the way things have gone on. Steve Smith is going for the three-peat. He has been back-to-back winner 2011. He did it in 2012. Can he do it again, Cy?
You know, he did it last year with a time of 2:44. He was 4.6 seconds in front of Mick Hanna. You know, if anyone can, he's on a roll. He won at Mount St. Anne last week at the UCI World Cup there. You know, he's on a flyer. He's got some home team support here. All his family, all his friends are here. The fans are out in force. They're all up there on Heckler's Rock waiting for him. If anyone can do it, Stevie Smith can.
I'm glad you brought that up. One of my favorite parts about the Canadian Open is Heckler's Rock. Now, what is Heckler's Rock? Can you explain to the people who maybe not know anything about it?
No, Heckler's Rock, it's a large rock up on the Canadian Open course, and there's a little bit of graffiti on there. It says Heckler's Rock, but that is where the hardcore fans go. That is just insane up there. You know, if you're on a rental bike on the chairlift, you're going to get abused. You're going to get heckled. It's a bit like at a comedy show. These guys are going to take it out of you. Anything they spot, they're going to make a joke out of it. Even the riders. You know, we saw last year Duncan Riffle. He stopped by, had a little drink up there. He popped down. All the fans up there. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of colour going on. They'll have the tops off. Heckler's Rock, it's the place to be to spectate.
I'll tell you what, and you know what, it's hard enough just trying to run this race on your own, but then to have people heckling you when you're trying to get down there, that's not an easy thing. I'll tell you what, we're going to have a new winner for the ladies. Last year, it was all about Casey Brown. She had the winning time of a 3:15 last year. She is not here, still recovering from that collarbone injury, so she is not able to compete, and that's going to open the door for some other ladies coming your way. Talking about Emmeline Rago, a two-time winner, 09 and 10. She's won it. Michaela Gatto's finished second in 09. You got the bronze medals from last year, Lauren Rosser. She's in here. And then Claire Bouchard, wow. 4 second-place finishes and 1/3, looking for her first ever win. We'll see how that plays out. Well, Jackie Montgomery, she is the 3rd member or the 4th member, whatever you want to call, of our team. And she had a chance to go visit Jeep, the Jeep's closed course, Roxon Road course over there in Lot 2. And let's show you what went down when she decided to test drive the latest Jeep. Take it away, Jackie.
All right, guys, we are here at the Jeep Roxon Road test drive, and we are in a brand new Jeep Wrangler, and somehow they let me behind the wheel to take this thing for a little test drive. They say this thing can handle anything. Holy cow. Guys are making me sweat right now. It's kind of nerve-wracking. They have the entire fleet of Jeeps here, including the newest Cherokee here on site. No one's ever seen it before in Canada. So now if you or any of your friends want to get down here and test drive one of these bad boys, it is free and a lot of fun. Guys, back to you.
And that's Jackie Montgomery taking a look at the Jeep's Roxon Road course. And she kind of drives like my mom a little bit out there. I don't want to say that to her, but she kind of does.
Nice and steady, though. That's what we want. You know, Brett Tippie was in there last year, and they've locked him out a lot too, I'm afraid. They won't let him back in there, Brad.
Well, it's coming up for you here in just a little bit. We're going to be getting things done. We'll be bringing the guys and the ladies across. We'll be coming first for you. So the time to beat for the women, 13:15, 2:44. The time to beat for the guys, And I think we need to check in. Are we going to check in with Jackie right now? Is that what we're doing? We'll do that in a little bit, Si. Wait, hold on.
She's just on her way up to Heckler's Rock at the moment.
I'm getting word that she is on her way up right now, and she has no idea what she's in for being at Heckler's Rock, does she?
No, she is a Heckler's Rock virgin up there.
This is not going to be good. She has no idea. No. Now, does the shirt off thing, that's for the guys, right? The girls don't have to do that. They can leave their tops on, right?
I'm not an expert on this.
So has no comment on that one. All right, we'll be back with more Crankworx Whistler Canadian Open DH. It's coming your way. Final day at Crankworx. We'll be right back.
Something cool is about to go down. Brought to you by the refreshingly cool taste of Bud Light. Light it up.
I think it's human nature to want to explore.
To find your line and go beyond it.
The only limit is the one you set yourself.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler. Crankworx Whistler. All right. Canadian Open Downhill.
And Brad J. Cy Payton here up in the Pink Bike booth. The final event here, the 10-year anniversary of Crankworx. Kind of sad to see it come to an end, but at least we're going out in style. Canadian Open is one heck of a race, isn't it, Si?
Yeah, it is a real big event, you know, not just on the Canadian calendar, but on the international calendar as well. We've got a whole host of international riders here. I'm really looking forward to seeing Claire Bouchard. And then last year, she was the only woman to jump the big pro jump there on the Canadian Open. 62 feet of air she got on that. It's a little bit bigger this year. The wind is up. Will we see any of the pro women do that? Fingers crossed, hopefully we'll see them over safe and sound. But I know for sure the majority of the pro men will be doing that, Brad.
Oh, that is a given right there. And she's got, you look at Claire, 4 second-place finishes and a third-place finish. How special it would be for her to get that #1 spot. Well, I'll tell you what, it is time to check in with Tristan Merrick. He's our course expert, breaking things down for us. Everything about this Canadian Open DH. We'll send it downstairs right now. Tristan, what's going on down there, man?
Guys, I'm down here on this massive finish line jump we were talking about. It is quite a bit bigger today, so I mean, if they've made it all the way through the technical course as it is, I'm standing on the knuckle. 70 feet behind me is where you have to take off. So you come up short. We've seen quite a few people not make that entire distance today. And it's just such a far off gap here. I mean, they're pedaling into it as hard as they can. Still very, very big jump. So will we see any ladies do this? That'll be the big question. Will Claire step up to the plate? Will Emmeline do what she's going to do? She's already won once this week. Can she win again? And you're going to have to hit this jump. Back up to you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Tristan. Look, Tristan Merrick talking about that jump, too. That is the big jump. Will it happen? Will we see Claire, who hit it last year, will she go and do it this year? What is your thoughts? I mean, you think she's going to do it?
You know, I'm not 100% sure. You know, this course is going to be like 3 minutes, 15 seconds long. So a bit of fatigue setting in. There's been a long lot of events at Whistler Crankworx this year. You know, we're into day 10. A lot of the riders are fatigued. The course is getting even more beat up. We've got 350 riders have been racing the Canadian Open today. So at the end, it just depends on the rider. They need to have it focused in their head. When they set up on that start line, 100% focused. Yes, I'm going to do that jump. So only Claire will know that when she's in that start line.
Yeah, it's not one of those things that you're going to make up your decision when you're approaching it. You got to have that in your mind, like, this is what I'm going to do. You're not going to want to be iffy about it on it. So that is how it basically is going to play out. You got to go for it, or you make your mind up ahead of time that I'm not going for it. I'm going to take the different line, maybe the mellower line. And I'll tell you what, with Casey Brown being out, the defending gold medalist from last year, that does pretty much open the door. I mean, Claire's got to be thinking right now, look, Casey's out. I've finished in second place 4 different times. What's going on?
Hey, Brad J.
We're in the middle of doing a show. What's going on down here?
Brad J.
Yeah, that's me. What's up?
It's the Giant Rab agents. We got some stuff going down.
Well, you guys, you're interrupting a show. I don't know if we're supposed to do this. What do you guys got going on, man?
Well, this is official business.
It's official business. Well,
It's official business.
What the heck kind of business would you be having to interrupt a webcast show before the Canadian Open DH?
Well, to interrupt this broadcast, what we're doing is random acts of bikeness. That means we're just wandering through the crowd right now, looking for somebody with a clapped out bike that we are going to give a brand new bicycle to.
Okay, I'm seeing that's okay to interrupt the show for that.
I don't know if you guys can see us over here. Here, let me put up my siren.
Oh, I see you guys. I mean, you guys got the caution tape out and everything. This is legit right now, right?
Do you have any idea who we are?
No.
Do you know what we're doing?
No.
This is called Random Acts of Bikeness. It's sponsored by Giant Bicycles. And all across the country, we've been giving away free bicycles. And we can't help but notice that is a clapped out bike. And we thought you might do a little bit better with a brand new bike. Do you want a new bike?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, we just need to get our bike over here. Hold on a sec. Brad J, we have technical difficulties.
Yeah,
We're getting a bike.
You're getting a bike right now.
Yeah.
And this bike is a brand new bike.
Yeah.
Because her bike is clapped out and she needs a new bike.
She definitely needs a new bike.
And you good people at Giant, are you like the Giant Bike Police? Is that what you guys are?
Yeah, we're the Giant Rab agents.
And so that's your job. You guys come out, find somebody with a clapped out bike and replace it with a brand new one?
I know, it's a pretty sweet job, eh? So let's find out a little bit more about her. Hold on a sec. What's her name?
Karina?
Is that your real name?
Yes. Yes.
And how long have you had this thing for?
You know what? I think it's been 10 years and it's his. It's a hand-me-down.
Oh, you didn't even buy her a new bike?
Nice guy. Oh, bad.
Shame. So what do you think about this new bike?
Oh, that's awesome. Holy sh... Awesome.
Hey, Brad J, I don't know if you can see that from up here, but this is a brand new 2014 Giant Glory. This is the first one in Canada.
Oh, let's hear it right there. Random Acts of Bikeness.
This is awesome.
So, what do you think? New bike? Good thing?
I actually get to keep it.
You get to keep it.
This is awesome.
We-
Thank God I stayed.
So, Brad J, I think that wraps it up. We gave away the bike. She looks pretty happy.
Well, let's put a big round of applause for the Rad Agents and Giant Bicycles taking care of business and giving a brand new Giant Glory 2014 model. Random Act of Bikeness. Good stuff for indeed. Thank you so much, guys out there. Wow, that's pretty cool, Si.
That is more than cool. That bike is worth a lot of dollars. The first Giant Glory 2014 in Canada. Wow, even I'm envious of that one, Brad J.
Yeah, I bet her boyfriend probably feels kind of lame right now that he hadn't hooked her up with a bike, but now he's really happy because now he doesn't have to buy her a bike because she's got a brand new Giant Glory.
Yeah, you know, we've all seen that, the hand-me-down that you give to the girlfriend or the wife. The old beaten bicycle. It's okay, love. It will work. Bit of oil on the chain. She'll run good. But look at that now. She's going to be outstepping him on that lift chair.
Check out the latest that Giant has to offer. Check out Giant Bicycles for sure. And get the latest Glory. I had a chance to ride one of the Glories on the hill the other day. And they're such a great bike. So big props out to Giant holding it down. All right, time to check in fourth member of our team. Her name is Jackie Montgomery. Let's check her in with her the final day. Jackie, what's going on?
All right, guys, I am up here at Heckler's Rock, if you can't tell, and I feel like I've been thrown into the gauntlet right now. This thing has only been around since 2009, but it's definitely one of the highlights here at the Canadian Open downhill. They've been heckling me to take my shirt off, and we'll see what happens. I it's a family show, so we'll see. But we'll have to see what happens, guys. But for now, we'll send it back to you. As you can see, I have my hands full with all this behind me, okay?
Look, it is no joke when we talk about Heckler's Rock and what goes on out there. Jackie's just being thrown into the fire now. First time coming out here at Crankworx, so we put up the Heckler's Rock. And there was talk, we were talking to all our production crew and the directors here earlier today, and they were thinking about possibly not putting her up there, and I said, no way. You have got to put Jackie up there. There is no way in her first Crankworx that we do not send her to Heckler's Rock for your Canadian Open DH. All right, well, let's take a look at some of the highlights of last night. We gave out the breakaway, the Young Gun Breakout Award was given out to a guy by the name of Anton Taylander. Let's take a look at Anton right now, going to work here last night and taking the Breakout Award.
Joyride, badass. It is badass.
Another one of the sweetest riders up here. Truck driver off the first drop from Taylander. A nice 270 truck driver up on top of the top side of the cannon. 360 up. Clean flat spin 3 over top of the long jump. Coming up into the Bud Light step down.
Here we go.
Backflip bar spin.
Anton Taylander right there. That's a good run from one good rider. Anton Taylander, your Young Gun Award for 2013.
Joyride, badass. It is badass.
And Anton Taylander right there taking the big win. The Young Gun Breakout Award, a brand new award unleashed this year here at Crankworx Whistler, and he wins that brand new Fox helmet. You know a little bit about that helmet, don't you?
You know, those carbon full faces, they are the best helmets out there in the market. Super comfy fitting, loads of air vents. As run by all the top pros, Stevie Smith will be running one today as well, Brad.
And they are so light. I was down there checking those helmets out. Big props out to the Fox people holding it down on the Fox rig. All right, well, that was the breakout athlete, of course, the Young Gun Breakout Athlete, brand new award here. But let's look at the top 3 from last night for your Red Bull Joyride. Take a look at this.
Joyride, badass. It is badass.
Sam Pilgrim right now currently ranked number 2 in the FMB World Tour rankings.
Up top of the drop, tuck no hander over top of the giant cannon. 360 tuck no hander up the butt, setting up into the Red Bull hip. 360 with about 2 of our riders this year already doing backflips off that flat drop.
Oh, yes.
The big backflip condor out of Pilgrim.
Can Pilgrim do it? He has done it on 87 for Sam Pilgrim, your new leader here for Red Bull Joyride. So it would be a big win for him if he could put up a score right now. Martin Soderstrom.
Perfecting what Claw was trying to do earlier. Nollie 360 off of the top Joyride drop. 360 over the next GoPro cannon. Backflip tuck no hander. Backflip over the long jump. The largest trick we've seen off that jump this week.
Oh, yes.
360 win.
Holy mother trucker. Martin Soderstrom, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, big fan of Martin Soderstrom out there. Brandon Semenuk, the winner in 2011.
Truck driver up top. So that was opposite truck driver going into regular truck driver, getting all the big tricks, some of the hardest stuff that he's done up top.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at him jump out on that opposite double tail whip.
Oh, yeah.
Bar spin and a big backflip.
Here we
Huge
go.
trick jumping off of the last drop there. Let's see what he has coming up. Is this the run of his life?
Yes. Holy mother trucker. Shut the front door. Brendan Semenuk, Whistler. Give him some love.
There you go, your winner, 2013 Red Bull Joyride. Put that gold medal around his neck. There he is, Brandon Semenuk.
Joyride, badass. It is badass.
And that is how it played out there last night. And Brandon Semenuk, I mean, kind of a change side for the way he decided this year. He wasn't going to compete in all the contests. He decided that he was just going to pick the contest that he wanted to do, take a little bit of pressure off himself and come out and do it. And it seems like that strategy paid off when you win the biggest slopestyle competition in the world.
You know, it's a huge event. It's a big showcase event, you know, and you sort of kind of got to make sure you stay safe up until that, you know, so limited but practice perhaps. Knows that everyone knows that Semenuk's got his tricks dialed in his head. A lot of the time he will just drop into the course, do the jumps, it's a standard jump, and then come the real deal for the big show. That's when he'll bang the big tricks in.
And you know that all those riders out there, all the riders up top, they all have the big tricks. They all can basically put them down, but when it counts, that's the thing. When you can put them down in a solid run, link them all together, and put together that winning run like Semenuk does, that's when you end up on top. We saw it with Tomas Janone last year. We saw it with Brandon Semenuk this year. And now the cool thing about this, Semenuk is now entered into the 2 club, I call it. The one person, he has won 2 events. He's run 2 Red Bull Joyrides. Paul Bass has won 2. He went back-to-back, only guy to do that. Cam Zink has done it too as well. He has won 2. So when you win 2, that's pretty legit at Red Bull Joyride.
Indeed it is, Brad. You can't get better than that, can you?
You sure can, and congratulations to Brandon Semenuk taking that big gold medal last night. Congratulations to him. But, of course, you know, thoughts and stuff, tough break for Martin Soderstrom. Literally, he had to go to the hospital. Tib fib was what he fractured, so he's going to be out for the season, so we wish him well and a speedy recovery. All right, more coming up. It's your Canadian Open DH. It is on the way. Day 10, the final day, 10 years, Crankworx. We'll be right back.
We got this new Grupo, and the first thing that came to mind was doing something new and exciting around home. It's close to home for us, but it's always been a mystery what's out here. So our goal is just to get on the bikes and figure out what we have.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler. Crankworx, Whistler. All right. Canadian Open, downhill.
And Brad J. Cy Payton up here in the booth for you, bringing the final event here, and also bringing your Crankworx Whistler 10th year anniversary to a close here with their Canadian Open DH. One of my favorite races. It's too bad it's the last day because I always look so forward to this day, and you got to wait 10 days before it gets going.
Well, yeah, it is a great event. It's a UCI Cat 1 event. We know we've got top international riders here. It's against the clock. It's true racing.
You know what? And not only do you have the awards that are handed out for all the events that we do, but we do something very special here at Crankworx, and it's called the King and Queen of Crankworx, and that's the competitor who has done the best in the pro divisions, and they can be crowned the king or the queen. Let's send it down to Tristan Merrick with more on the King and Queen. Tristan?
Thanks, Brad. I'm down here in the finish line corral, and I've got the King of the Gravity Award here in my hand. It's the 10th anniversary edition. Such an amazing thing that we give out here each and every year, recognizing their best all-around athlete. Guys like Mick Hanna, he's been doing lots of events. obviously the A-line, dual slalom, and everything else. And then, of course, we have a queen of the gravity, queen of the mountain that will be given away later on today, too. So both these awards are still undecided this afternoon. So today's results are going to determine who's going to be walking away with these ones. Back up to you guys.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And that's a pretty big award. And to win King of Crankworx or Queen of Crankworx on the 10-year anniversary, that's a pretty big deal. All right. Well, we checked in with her a little bit ago. Let's see what's going on, the mayhem up there at Heckler's Rock. Let's send it back upstairs to Jackie Montgomery. Jackie? Oh, wow. What is she saying? She was saying that she's having a good time here.
Having a good time.
Yes, I got that out, Jackie. All right, there we go. What the heck is that guy wearing right there? Okay, well, why don't we take a look at what went down last year, and we'll check back in with Jackie if that's able. Let's look at last year's Canadian Open right here. And only one guy left on course that can challenge that right now. Steve Smith is going for the Triple Crown. He won the Garbo DH. He won the Air DH. Can he do it the Jeep Canadian Open DH? His split time will be coming up soon.
Yeah, I'll keep you up to date on that ride in the brand new Carbon Da Vinci Global Racing by Naomi BC. This is the Canadian. This is Steve Smith going for the three-peat. Never been done before. Will it ever be done again? Let's have a look. Oh! 202 on the split. He is in first place by a country mile. Stevie Smith, is he going to bring this one home? Whistler, you need to help him now. He wants to hear you cheering. He stood up pedaling. Stevie Smith, the Canadian, he's on course. This last right-hander, he's going to hit this left. Everyone's got the fingers crossed. Let's take the roof off this one, Whistler. Stevie Smith coming in strong.
Steve Smith, where you at? Where's my Steve Smith fans? Here comes Steve Smith through the whoop section, over to the big gap. He's in the air, rubber side down. Steve Smith has crossed the line in a 2:44.8. Steve Smith has done it. He has won the Jeep Canadian Open DH. He won the Garbo DH, the Air DH. He's your Triple Crown Crankworx champ for 2012, Steve Smith. And your Jeep Canadian Open DH winner for 2012 for your pro women, it goes to Casey Brown. Andrew Needling third, Vic Canada number 2, and Steve Smith, your winner. And congratulations to our winners from last year. This is a Canadian Open DH. We thought in honor of our Canadian Open DH, it's time for O Canada. Please stand up for O Canada. put your hands together right now. Everybody here at Whistler, final day, Canadian Open DH. Let's hear it for the riders, Whistler. I'll tell you what, Si, sad to see it coming to an end, but if you're going to go out in any sort of way on the last day, this is the way to do it. Heckler's Rock is packed to the tilt right now. Our riders in the gate, the pro women about ready to start things off, Si.
Yeah, locked and loaded in the gate. We'll try and get confirmation who is that in the lead. Andrea Farias, the Chilean rider. The gate has dropped. She is out rider 272, the Chilean rider. Now we're expecting to see times around about the 3:15 should be the fastest time of the day, perhaps for the women. We know the course is running slightly faster. We have had a lot of rain over the last 2 days in the mornings and on the evenings. It should have made the track a little bit tacky in a few places, but there is 1 or 2 rock slabs where the mud has been dragged onto there, and it will be a little bit slippy and catch a few people out, especially up by Heckler's Rock.
So, Si, when we talk about the time differences from last year, the Casey Brown, the winning time, 3:15 for her, and then about 2:44 for Steve Smith. And we bring in the rain into the issue because we had the rain yesterday. What do you think, honestly, that's going to do to their times? Is that going to improve times than it would be if we didn't have any rain?
I think so, because the course was so, I don't want to say blown out, but so dusty and so dry. Some of those corners you just could not commit to going in there hard with your front wheel. You didn't know whether you'd have the grip or not. It was almost like 6 inches deep of sand, almost like flour. It was that dry, so you can't commit into those really dry, dusty corners. So when it's rained, you know, that dust and that dirt is sticking together. There's a little bit more traction. As I said, the flip side to that, there's a couple of rock sections on there, a few slabs that can slide you out.
All right, so then you look at Casey Brown. She's not competing out here this year. Of course, she came back from the collarbone injury. We saw her competing earlier this week. Maybe just a little too much for her to be able to get back out on the course. I mean, I know she's just trying to get over that collarbone injury. That's a tough one. I've broken them both myself.
You know, Casey Brown, she is absolutely remarkable. 3 weeks after having a collarbone plated, she's the most of the events here. She even did the official whip-off World Championships up there on Crabapple Hits. They are some huge jumps, and she competed and she took the win. I think there was 2 women that did that, and she wasn't just clearing them, she was whipping out, she was styling it out. I don't want to say riding like a man, but you know, wow, I've got to take
Just
my hat
say
to
it.
Casey Brown.
Just say she was riding like a dude. Just go ahead and drop it right there.
Yeah, you know, 100% respect to her, but I'm not sure what's happened to her today. I don't know whether she's bailed out due to fatigue or an injury. I haven't actually caught her in the pits, but we'll try and catch up with her later on, Brad.
And then how about Steve Smith? Now, he competed and won 3 events. It's the only time we've ever seen someone do that. The triple threat. He's won 3, took care of business out there. He didn't do all 3 events this year, so I wonder how that's going to play out for him.
Well, yeah, you know, last Sunday, he won the World Cup there over at Mount Saint-Anne. He didn't do the Gabonzo downhill just because of the fatigue side of things. You know, traveling from there was a 12 hours worth of travel, 3 hours lost due to jet lag and time difference. So he's competing. We know he won the ADH on that 27.5 Da Vinci bike. So great skills on that brand new bike. It really was his first outing on it, and he proved that he could win on that. Now he's coming for this one, the big one, the Canadian Open, one that he does really want to win. And I'm pretty sure he's going to drop a good time. Will it be faster than that 2:44? Well, we will find out shortly after 5 o'clock this afternoon.
And one of our latest competitors, the Pro Women on course right now officially. It is underway for the Pro Women. Welcome everybody on Crankworx.com. Thanks for joining us on redbull.com/bike. Pro Women on course right now for your Canadian Open DH. Our final competition here, 10 days of Crankworx coming to a close when we finish this one. And to let you people know down there in the finish area, we're going to be doing the awards today for all the amateurs and the pros. We'll be doing that in the base right here. So make sure you stick around for that. All right, here we go. One of our competitors on course coming down right now. Andrea Farias, 272 right now.
Yeah, Chilean rider on course. There's 3 lines up there. There's the big jump that we expect to see most of the pro men hitting. She goes round to the side. She's still first because she's the first rider down. So just outside the 4-minute barrier. So 4:05, that's a good time to start with. She's happy. She's down safe and sound. The sun is coming out down the bottom part of this course. But as we look up to the top, the mist seems to be rolling in. I don't think that's rain at the moment, but weather sure could play a part in this race later on in the day.
And that is done other than Claire Bouchard right there. 4 second-place finishes and 1 third. She has never won this event. And Casey Brown, who won it last year, not here today. So we're going to have a different gold medalist from last year. And also getting word that Jamie Hill is on course as well. She is plate number 290. And we'll be bringing them across when they come into view here. Thanks for everybody joining us. Final day going on for you here. And your Canadian Open D8, Cy Payton, Brad J, Tristan Merrick down in the finish area, and then Jackie Montgomery up on Heckler's Rock as we are set for. Here's a look at Heckler's Rock. Look at that.
All right, those guys and girls up there are in full force. And this is the tricky corners that I was on about, Brad. There's some quite rocky corners in there, and it's very, very slippy up there. Some of the other corners, like the ones you see now, a little bit tackier up on course there, which allows the riders to have a little bit more grip on these tyres, which means they can throw it into these corners without braking as much and rail the berms a little bit further. But what a great view we've got there from the overhead cam we saw last year. One clever guy waving up at that camera as it went on past. That made him pretty famous.
Well, the world is watching us right now live on Crankworx.com. We welcome everybody here. Too bad you can't be here live, but the next best thing, you're watching it online. RedBull.com/bike, Crankworx.com for scoring and timing. Just go to Crankworx.com on your mobile app, your mobile phone, and on the right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner, you can click on there, scoring and timing, and that is 258.
Claire Bouchard there, railing it down by Heckler's Rock. I wonder if she had time to wave to Jackie, who stood up there.
I mean, I imagine that you just want to get through Heckler's Rock as fast as possible, so you just don't let them just knock you off your game plan.
Yeah, now who have we got here? I think this is rider 260, so that is Danielle Recroft, the Australian rider. She's got a huge problem with her bike, I believe. Is it the drivetrain? The back wheel looks to be... She's taking a flip. I'm not sure what's wrong with that bicycle at the moment.
It looks like there's a lot wrong with that bike as she comes up in there. See her looking down. Well, earlier today, we sent Tristan Merrick to catch up with the bike mechanic who does all the wrenching on Emmeline Rago's bike. And this is what went down when Tristan caught up with Emmeline Rago's bike mechanic. Check it out.
Hey guys, I'm here with Emmeline Rago's mechanic, Billy. Billy, we've seen Emmeline all week doing lots of different courses. We've seen her in the Garbo DH. We've seen her in the A-Line DH. We've got the Canadian Open DH today. Take us through bike setup, because it's quite a different track than we've seen.
Yeah, so the Garbanzo was a really long track, so you need to find a setup is ride fast, but is still comfy, because she rides like 12 minutes, or she need to find some comfort. After you have A-Line, the track is really slick, so you need a really hard bike for the jump and everything. So we close the compression on the front and on the back for the A-Line to have a fastest bike we can. And here is difficult because we have some rough section, we have some route, we have some steep section, you have flat and you have big jumps, so you have to find a compromise. So we play with the compression on the front and the rear suspension. We have a bottom out setting. We change some tire. This is the most what we do every time.
Yeah, so we've seen a bit of rain today. What kind of tire option did you guys change to?
So we go for Magic Mary from Shelby. This is like an intermediate tire. It's not a full dry tire, not a muddy tire, just between the two with the first ride compound. So it's a special compound only for pro rider. And it's a really soft compound, so it helps you to get a lot of grip on the wet roads and everything like that.
We wish Emmeline all the best later on today as she embarks on the Canadian Open DH, and it's a good-looking rig. Hopefully she can get another win this week. Thanks very much for your time, Billy.
And that was Tristan catching up. Jamie Hill crossed on time with a 3:47. And Claire Bouchard right there with a 3:21.78. So Claire takes over the top spot with that time right there. We'll see if anyone else can challenge that. But right now, she has got the lead, trying to come away with her first ever gold medal here in your Canadian Open DH. Been running this race since 2007 as we look up top towards Heckler's Rock again.
That's Fionn Griffiths there riding on that evil bike in the Alpine Stars race kit. But Claire Bouchard, 25 seconds in the lead for Cavaret Racing, the local girl done good. And amazing times. That is going to put a lot of pressure on there for the likes of Florian Pujan, Emily Rago, Michaela Gatto. They're going to be the last three riders down, but currently on course This should be rider 292, Vea Vierbeek there, the Canadian.
Yep, and here she comes right now. Vea Vierbeek now on her way from Granby right there, doing it in a big way on her way down here towards the end. Here we go, Vea Vierbeek from Canada crossing. Her time is going to be a 3:42.47, second place for Vea right there.
Yeah, just need 21 seconds off Claire Bouchard's time. That's a cracking time at the moment. That time of 3:21. Still 6 seconds behind what Casey Brown did last year on a slightly different track.
There's your Jeep standings up there on the board. Bouchard, Vierbeek, Hill, Arias 1, 2, 3, 4 with Beecroft in 5 right now. Here, your Canadian Open DH underway for you. The final day of action here. Crankworx 2030, a decade of Crankworx. Look at this. Here comes Lauren Rosser now. Now, she was the bronze medalist from last year. Looking to try and change the color of that medal to a silver or possibly a gold. Not going to be able to challenge the gold time. Claire Bouchard is going to have that with a 3:21. But here comes Lauren Rosser right now. Coming into sight. What's she going to do? Going to take that line to the right. Put your hands together. Lauren Rosser airing it out. Crossing the line. The time for Lauren. A 3:38.26 into second place for Lauren Rosser right there.
Right, next up here, this is Fionn Griffiths getting some pedals in. She's going to use this as great practice. She's been picked by British Cycling to go to the World Championships in South Africa in 2 weeks' time. And she said to me that her bike is hanging at the moment. She spent 10 days here at Whistler. Her bike's falling apart. She's telling me she's going to need some good mechanics on that. She lands back in the UK on Tuesday and then flies out to South Africa on Wednesday.
No rest for the weary. And you know what? When you're the caliber of P. Griffiths, of course you're not going to get much rest time during comp season. Here we go. 2:59. That is her right there.
Fionn Griffiths taking that big jump into the finish line, getting the pedals down. She crosses line, second place, 3:34 for Fionn Griffiths out of Shrewsbury.
So we'll see if that time holds up right now. You can see how it's breaking out. Claire Bouchard with that 3:21.78. She's your leader right there. 3:34. Fee Griffiths in that second spot. Lauren Rosser now in third. There's your 1, 2, 3. We have yet to see Michaela Gatto, Florian Puget, and Emmeline Rigaud, the winner of the Garbo DH as well. She should be coming down. As we'll see how her time stacks up with the rest of the competitors. And Florian just came down through the Heckler section right there. Heckler's Rock.
So the rider on call is this Camila Nagura there, the Argentinian on the 270 plate. Never raced with us last year. She's riding for Zenith Bicycles. This is the Pro Women. And we have 4 riders to go, including Camilla here. The last rider down is going to be Emily Rigaud, winner of the Gabonzo. She turned up after 1 practice run and took the win there. Camila Nagura there, the Argentinian. She's rolling in hot here. She's not going to challenge for the first time of Claire Bouchard. It's going to be just inside the 4 minutes. Camila Nagura there. She goes 6th place, 3 minutes, 55 seconds.
And no change in our leaderboard right now with just a few more. It looks like we have 3 more to come down here in the Pro Women's Division. The men will be taken to this Canadian Open DH course. And that one's stacked. 144 guys going to be coming down this course compared to the women's pro category, just 14 in this category.
Right, next up, this is Michaela Gatto here, coming through riding on the Common Cell bike. This is going to be a good time for her.
And Michaela Gatto checking in with a 3:31.89. Michaela Gatto into second place with that time.
Yeah, she got 7th last year with a time of 4:14, so she had a bad day at the office last year. The woman from West Vancouver, she goes 2nd place, Michaela Gatto. Next up, Florian Pujan, then Emily Rigaud. The French are in the house at the moment. What can they do? They like a bit of spinning on those pedals. She's had to sit down for a bit of a rest. There's a long old track there. It's quite flat. Still has to carry a little bit of speed into this last section. Florian Pujan there, the French rider. 3:05 on the clock at the moment. Riding for Scott 11 Gstaad. Gstaad is the German-speaking town quarter there in Switzerland. Florian Pujan is going to be outside of Claire Pujard's time. She likes them, the jumping. She's in the air. Is she going to hit the big one? Oh, no, she goes outside. We thought she was going to hit that big one there. Florian Pujan there, just inside the 330. 329, she goes second place.
And now it comes down to one competitor, and that one competitor is somebody who has won this event a two-time Canadian Open DH winner. Won it in 09, then won it in 2010. She's also the winner of the Garbo DH this season. Talk about Emmeline Rago. We caught up with the bike mechanic earlier. We heard from him. Let's see what the time she can put up right now, Si.
She's in. She's dropping into the boneyard. Here she goes. Emmeline Rago there, the French rider. This is going to be a good time. She doesn't do the big doubles.
Here she goes. Look at the time. This is a good time. Emmeline Rago crossing with a time of 3:13.01, smashing the record by 2 seconds last year. Your winner of your Canadian Open DH, Emmeline Rago. All right, well, another win stacking up for Emmeline Rago. Her second win this year. Hugs by Michaela Gatto right there in the finish area. And let's check in with Tristan Merrick, see if we can get a word with our winner. Tristan?
All right, guys, I'm down here with the winner today, Emmeline Rago. We were chatting with her mechanic earlier about her bike. Emmeline, take us through course conditions up there. We're seeing Florian came down with a bit of mud on her. How did your run go?
It was okay. It's pretty cool because there is a lot of people on the track, so they push you to go a bit faster, so it's pretty cool.
And how was Heckler's Rock? I mean, they're lined about 30, 40 deep through there. Does that give you a bit more courage to open it up?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I smiled when I was riding up there. Yeah, it's really good. The climate here, I love it.
Well, there you go, guys. Our winner today, Emmeline Rago, handling all the hecklers on Heckler's Rock. Back up to you guys.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, you know what she said? She's smiling when she was going through there, just having some fun. I guess that's the way you deal with it right there. Smile, don't let it bother you. Don't listen to the hecklers. Just run your race. Speaking of Heckler's Rock, let's send it up. Check in with Jackie Montgomery, standing by at Heckler's Rock. Let's see if we can hear her. Jackie?
Well, guys, it's called Heckler's Rock for a reason. Nobody is safe here. The people on the lift line, the people standing around me, and I don't know if you can, how wide this shot is, but Heckler's Rock is just as much of a spectacle as the race itself. We have a huge crowd that's gathered around here just to watch these guys. I actually had to move down the mountain because I refused to take my shirt off, and as you can tell behind me, that's the rule. Shirts off on the rock, so that's why I'm down here. I did chug a beer, though. Just to let you know, I did get into the festivities, but that's about all I could do. All
right.
But guys, it is a definite party. Maybe we'll get another rider to do a shotgun a beer. I don't know. It could happen. But I see why they sent me up here, guys. You guys had to throw me into the gauntlet, and I'll get you back later for that.
Yes, you will.
But as my good friend Dan Campbell says, sorry for partying, guys.
Sorry
we'll
for
send
partying.
it back to you.
Oh, Jackie up there having a good time. Got into the festivities. She shotgunned herself a Bud Light. Good job up there. It's okay. She's not driving anywhere. She's just working. But the thing is, the whole talk was not to send her up there. And nobody wanted. They said, oh, we might kind of send her up here. We'll just maybe keep her in the finish area. And I said, Si, no way. Her first Crankworx, she gets her tush up there, and she works Heckler's Rock, and she's up there right now, holding it down for all of us.
I don't know whether she's going to come back next year. Let's have a look at the Jeep standings at the moment. Top spot there, Emily Rago, 3:13, 8 seconds in front of Claire Bouchon, and that would have put her 2 seconds in front of Casey Brown's time last year. Obviously, Casey's not racing this one, but still a great time there. She would have took the top spot. Claire Bouchon, second again. Bridesmaid. One day, will she ever make it to be the bride? Florian Pajan there, French rider in 3, Gatto in 4, and Fionn Griffiths in 5.
Well, one thing you noticed, you saw 5 Canadian flags in that top 8. Canada's top 8. Canada's so strong. No American flags in that top 10 for the ladies. Well, we got more coming up for you. The Pro Men taking to this course. Canadian Open D8s. The Pro Men coming up next.
We got this new Grupo, and the first thing that came to mind was doing something new and exciting around home. It's close to home for us, but it's always been a mystery what's out here. So our goal is just to get on the bikes and figure out what we have.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler. Crankworx Whistler. Canadian Open Downhill.
Well, big congratulations to our order. Emmeline Rago has done it. She's won the Garbo DH this year. Now she wins Canadian Open DH. Congratulations to her. So now, not being just a two-time winner, now she has won this thing 3 times since this race started back in 2007, Si.
Yeah, you know, that's a great result for her, coming from a back-to-back win from Mount St. Anne from the World Cup, coming to here, winning on another huge stage here at Crankworx Whistler. I wonder what she's going to do next week. She's going to have a rest before she heads off to the World Championships, where she must be a hot favourite now. All the other competitors must be looking at this result here today thinking, is she unstoppable?
I'll tell you what, so the jet lag is not an issue with her at all, because she traveled out here with like not even 1 day's rest, won an event. She came from Mount St. Anne's, right?
She came from Mount St. Anne from the World Cup there. She won there.
Yeah.
She came over here, lost 3 hours sleep, traveled for 12 hours, did 1 practice run on Gabonza, and let me just remind you, that's a 14-minute racetrack. Not like usual standard 3 or 4 minutes. You know, there's 300-400 turns up there. For her to learn that course, you know, in 1 practice run, she must have had the GoPro on there, checking out the lines, doing the homework, watching that on the evening, and then to come in and win is totally outstanding. That just shows what an athlete and what a great rider she is.
And also, congratulations to Claire Bouchard getting another 2nd place for her. But that's 5 2nd places, 5 number 2s and 1 number 3. At some point, you know, she wants to just get that top spot.
You know, she's going to be upset that Emily Rago beat her. You know, sometimes we say that, you know, well, you've got to kind of expect that a World Cup rider who's winning the World Cups is always going to beat you. But, you know, anything can happen in racing, as I'm sure we'll see later on today. Mechanicals, there can be crashes out there. The riders are going to be pushed themselves. We've got the guys up at Heckler's Rock. We're going to be adding a little bit extra pressure. And the big crowds down the bottom here as well.
And it looks like we got Craig Evans from Great Britain making his way down right now.
So yeah, this is the pro men. The last rider down will be Stevie Smith. Will be dropping in at 4:59, so we expect to see him around about 5:02 or just before then. Hopefully with a time of somewhere around about 2:44 or less. Will we see a time of 2:42, 2:41? Let's wait and see. But we are going with the pro men. Craig Evans there, Great Britain in the lead there. Number 1 there, Brad J. UK rider, 2:57 going sub 3 minutes. And we're going to see a lot of these guys now hitting this big jump. So hold on to your hats, because it's going to be a rough ride for some of them. So that was Craig Evans there, Bergtech rider. They make those nice flat pedals. You don't want to be clipping in, check them out.
And, you know, look at the difference there. 2:57 for Craig Evans, a 2:44 with Steve Smith last year. 144 pro men in this category, so a stacked and racked field for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the top flight here. This is UCI Category 1 race, so there's a little bit more on the table, shall we say, for the riders. They'll get their UCI points, the top riders. The top 8 or so will walk away those UCI points, which will help them to qualify for any World Cup races that they want to enter.
And it's out to Kushima now from Japan, airing it out. Here comes Kushima, putting that one down across the line. The time for Kushima, 3:19.59 for Sata Kushima.
Right, next up after him will be Jean Andrade. They're the Ecuadorian, Dan Albert from the USA, and Robert Chapman, a New Zealand rider. They'll be your next three. But currently, Craig Evans from Great Britain, 2:57. He's 14 seconds in the lead at the moment, and he's sat there in the hot seat under that giant easy up. Well, those guys did a good job, those RAB agents, handing out one of those giant bikes. That was great to see them doing earlier. But Juan Andrade, the Ecuadorian, he goes 4th place, 25 seconds off the pace. Riding that carbon S-Works full downhill rig.
So right now in the giant hot seat, that's going to be Craig Evans with that 2:57.79. That's what Craig Evans will sit there and see. He'll be there until that time gets beat. Remember last year's winning time, 2:44. If you like to follow scoring and timing, what do we got going on here, Si?
I have no idea what we've got going on here. I don't know if he's just dropped chain off Heckler's Rock, but I saw him in the queue line earlier. Rupert Chapman, the New Zealand rider. I don't know if he thinks he's Thomas Mack.
Big crowd on hand up there by Heckler's Rock. Watching these riders make their way down. Field of 144 guys here.
He's going for that Thomas Magnum look. I'm not quite sure. That's the look he used to run back in the 80s, Brad.
Yeah, the big mustache, the unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt. That was the look I was always going for. I just didn't have the Ferrari, man.
Is this Kai Rogers, number 174 from the USA in the red kit there, slipping and sliding in just underneath Heckler's Rock. Got some GoPro footage. I think this is off Mr. Roofing. This one, look at, this is going in. That's the jump into Heckler's Rock. They'll turn right now. They've almost cemented the bottom of that landing there because it was getting too cut up. Very slippy corners here. Going to try and dive on the inside. And this is a real awkward trench here. And then you aim down here at about 30, 40 miles an hour. There's a big jump at the bottom. There's a horrible rut that's whipping the riders. They're not liking that so much. And a nice couple of straight lines and some big hooks further on down this course. It really is a challenging course. This is the Canadian Open. Bit of everything on here. Big step down there on the left-hand side. That is the pro line. It's about a 30-foot gap to the left of that tree stump and into the dark woods here. Right, and this is Rupert Chapman styling it out, getting the old dead sailor going. Is he going to hit the big jump? I tell you what, I reckon if we give him a bit of a cheer, this guy's going to be in for some showboating. Has he got any energy? He's sat down pedaling. He's not running those knee pads. Is he running that Hawaiian shirt as more of an air brake, or is he there to style it out? Let's see what he can do as he drops into the bottom part of the boneyard. So Rupert Chapman on course. Still got enough energy to be styling out on those big jumps. Is he going to wind it up for the big one? I'd love to see him do this for the crowd. Is he going to do it? Come on, Whistler, get behind your showboater here. Woo! Rupert Chapman does not need any knee pads.
All right, Rupert, you just came down. Different choice of armor here. What was your take today?
Well, I didn't think I was going to get a very fast time, so thought I'd dress up, have a beer at Heckler's Rock.
How is Heckler's Rock? It seems pretty crazy from down here on the camera.
Oh, she's pretty loud, but I reckon it could be louder.
Are you going to get back up there right away and have another one?
Yeah, maybe I will. Give me on the chairlift.
Okay, guys, back up to you guys. Rupert Chapman, the guy with no armor and just liquid courage.
Yeah, put your hands together. That's what we like to see.
Liquid courage. Indeed, yeah. Going with a Thomas Magnum look right there.
You know, still dropped in with a time of 6th place. Kai Rogers came down 3:30. He's gone into 6th for Kai Rogers. Michael McLaughlin, the Australian, on course, 2:52 on the clock at the moment. So this is the Canadian Open. This is the Pro Men. 144 riders we have on the start list. Last rider down will be Stevie Smith around about 5 o'clock. So next man in, this is Michael McLaughlin there, the Australian, on the 157 plate. Some of these guys are going to have to sit down. Will we see the top pro riders stood up pedaling all the way? This is over 3 minutes worth of pain coming down the bottom part of this course. And then still in front of you, you've got these huge jumps. See him dropping in now, here we come. So we've got this big hip jump to the right. That is a huge jump. Another big step down, and then he's got to crank it up to this big step down. 65 foot of air. He lands nicely, he crosses the line. McLaughlin goes.
And that time, we'll check back with that. But right now here in the booth, Cy Payton, Brad J, and 5-time X Game gold medalist Ronnie Renner hanging with us right now here up in the booth. And Ronnie, you're all dressed up, man. What's up? You out there riding around?
Oh, the guy said I had my pajamas on at Heckles Rock when I was going on the lift, so I guess I'm dressed for the festive occasion, man.
Don't they know that's your MO, is the whole orange thing? They don't get that?
Yeah, well, I guess KTM does make bicycles, but I just ride the KTM dirt bikes and got to run it orange.
So you got the gold medal. Obviously, it was a step up at X Games. I was out there announcing it when you won that again, and you won it 5 times. 5 times to be a step up guy. That's got to feel pretty good because no one else has done it 5. You're the only one. And you're saying that you probably could have done it more, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on doing it more and going bigger. You know, I have people say, oh, are you going to go higher next time? I go, I just go as high as I have to win the thing, and that's how you get the job done. You know, there's no records unless the contest evolves into that.
Now, this is your first trip. This is your first trip out here in Whistler, right? Get down there on the downhill bike?
Oh, yeah, man. This ain't going to be my last trip, I'll tell you that. This is amazing. I'm blown away at how ridiculous. Like, this is awesome. Like, my son and I are out there riding. You know, I haven't even hit a quarter of the trails and having a time of my life.
You can't even cover it all, basically, when you come out here for like a few days. You need a heck of a lot more time, don't you?
Yeah, I don't have enough adjectives. It's like awesome, killer, rad, ridiculous, stupid, lethal, mental. I'm in love, man. Hopefully I can become a Canadian citizen and just live here at Whistler. That'd be rad.
It would be, man. I'll tell you what, when I started doing Crankworx 8 years ago, I've never looked back. It is so much fun coming out here. And I hear your kid, he wants to do this more full time, right?
Yeah, he told me he was inspired after the slopestyle last night. I'm like, oh, God, I was hoping he would be like, all right, that's a little too burly, but he's ready to go.
Well, when he comes from you, I got to think that nothing's too burly for a little guy like that to want to tackle.
You ain't going to catch me on that course, man. Maybe on my downhill bike on the easiest drop, and that's it.
So the good people at Fox taking care of you, the Fox rig, I see you hanging down there, one of our proud sponsors out here.
Oh, definitely, man. Fox is awesome. They're, got me covered with all the mountain bike gear, all my moto gear, and just good peeps. You know, it's cool to see them right down here, top dead center, with all the support for the, the riders and everything. If we're going to start mentioning sponsors, I ride GT bicycles. I got Red Bull in the house, and a lot of things are just coming, really relevant to my program. Oakley, everything ties hand in hand with downhilling. So I'm never going to go pro or anything with it, but definitely hit some local races and even hit some jumps. I scared the hell out of myself on Crabapple earlier, but I think I got it figured out.
No, remember you can enter the best whip contest when they do that next year.
Worst whip.
Okay, worst whip. All right. Well, 5-time X Game gold medalist Ronnie Renner up here just did it in step up out there in Los Angeles. Wish the best. Have some fun out here, and maybe you and I can get some riding in tomorrow.
Yeah, we're on it. That's not a hard thing to do, though. Give me a harder challenge than have fun at Whistler. Come on.
That's a really hard challenge, right? Having fun at Whistler. Ronnie Renner in the booth, man. Thanks a lot, Ronnie, for visiting with us out here. Cy Payton, Brad J, calling the action. Tristan Merrick down in the mix down there, and we got Jackie Montgomery. She is up at Heckler's Rock, the final competition here for your 2013 season, Canadian Open DH. We're checking out some of the GoPro footage of this very course right here for the Fox rider.
Yeah, this is Thibaut Ruffin there, the French rider. He's on course. This is with his GoPro footage from earlier on this morning. He rushed that to us after his first practice run. He said he got a nice clean run on this track. We are back up on the course. This is nearer to the bottom section. Try and catch the number of this rider. It might be 296, Ben Porteous. Hitting those new jumps there. They put those in every year as a big step down. step up across the road into like a rhythm section, then they've got a little bit of pedaling to do. But they're on bicycles. That's what the chain, that SRAM drive chain and pedals is for. Ben Porteous, yes, that is him, the Canadian rider, 250. Flashes by on the clock at the moment. But Craig Evans, as you can see, that's the winning time at the moment, 2:57. Craig Evans is in the hot seat down at the bottom in the finish arena here, in front of a packed-out crowd here at Crankworx Whistler. Ben Porteous, 3:07, ticks on by, hits the big one.
Oh, bouncing just a little bit right there, Ben Porteous. And that's a 3:11.97, so fourth place, top five for Ben Porteous right there. And you see how, even when you're getting in a ton of pedal strokes in there, still, that's a tough gap to claim.
That is a real tough gap to clean at the moment. Looking at the Jeep standings there, Evans in 1, Allen being 2, Albert in 3, Porteous in 4, and Blake rounding out that top 5 at the time of 3:12. Yeah, Brad J, that big jump there, it's a big tabletop landing. They want to try and catch the downside so they can get some momentum through to the finish line.
Indeed, more of the racers coming across the line. We'll be bringing it to you, the final race here, Canadian Open DH, your 10th day of Crankworx and your 10th year of Crankworx, just getting better and better. We'll be right back.
Something cool is about to go down. Brought to you by the refreshingly cool taste of Bud Light. Light it up.
I think it's human nature to want to explore.
To find your line and go beyond it.
The only limit is the one you set yourself.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler. Crankworx Whistler. Canadian Open Downhill.
And welcome back, everybody, out here. Final day here, your Canadian Open DH underway. Cy Payton, Brad J here up in the booth, the pink bike booth. We got Tristan Merrick down in the finish crowd and Jackie Montgomery up on Heckler's Rock. The pros taking to this course right now, 144 pros. That's a lot, Cy.
Yeah, that is a big international field. 144 riders on the start list. I'm not sure all 144 are going to make it down in one piece, but we shall see later on. We know that Stevie Smith's going to be the last man down with that time of 2:44.
And one guy where you just mentioned, Steve Smith, going for the three-peat. He has won it. He's won it 2 different times. He won it 2011, 2012, so this will be back to back to back for Steve Smith if he can take care of it. But he'll be our last competitor to go. But let's check in with Tristan Merrick. He's down below. Tristan, what's going on? Who do you got with you, man?
Down here at the finish line with Wynn Masters. Wynn was here. We saw him earlier this week in the Air DH. We were going to see him in the Pump Track Challenge, but unfortunately had a little spill. Wynn, what happened? You just didn't make it through, unfortunately.
I just put my face into the berm and woke up at hospital, so wasn't the best start to the week, really.
But we were just chatting beforehand. You're kind of here not really to race. You're here to take in all the festivities. What's been the standout event so far for you?
I think the last night was pretty good, but the whip-off was awesome. So it was a good event to watch. I would like to ride, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a shame we're not seeing you competing anymore throughout the festival. With the whip-off, did the right person win at the end of the day?
It's a hard call. I think judged event's pretty hard. I think maybe Vanderham should have got it. Yeah.
Fair enough. That one's always controversial. But what's your plan for the next couple of days here?
Just relax, pretty much, taking it easy and sleeping a lot.
Fair enough. Well, we wish you all the best on mending up in time for Worlds there. We'll get back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, Tristan Merrick, thank you so much. Get in with him. Man, he took a little digger there on that pump track, didn't he? Si?
Yeah, he slid his face around that berm. You know, Brad J, even the best riders crash on the pump track.
Inside joke. Thank you so much, Si, for bringing that one up. I appreciate that one. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that pump track is the real deal, too. I mean, big prop to Earth Odyssey for putting that thing together, and they've done such an amazing job each year. That's the 4th year that we've done the pump track challenge. Good to see that thing getting better and better every year.
Yeah, indeed, and it's such a good event. It brings mountain biking to the masses right there in the centre of Whistler. Everyone gets to see it. It's up on the big screens. Loads of people sat down on the grass, having a Bud Light and a pizza. They're all enjoying themselves. Right, next rider up on course, that looks like 185. Gustavo Testa, the Brazilian. Behind him will be Will Soft from Great Britain. But on course at the moment, it's Testa, the Brazilian. 3:05 is on the clock. He hangs up there. Oh, he's still putting some pedals in. He's waving to the overhead cam. Is he looking behind him? Does that mean we've got Will Soft going to overtake him? I'm not quite sure.
I think somebody was mooning him on course. They were pulling their trousers down and showing him the moon. I think that kind of threw him off his game plan right there, as it can be. Hey, that's part of racing out here. You might have to, some shirtless folks up top, some pantsless folks down below, but here comes 181. Philippe Walker, 4:39, ticking away here. Taking the right-hand line and crossing with a time of 4. Philippe Walker will check in with that time.
Now that rider in there, that was Will Soft that crossed the line.
That was
there,
Will Soft.
181.
Yeah, that was a 3:14 for him right there with that time. So Will Soft in the top 10 in the 8th spot.
So Craig Evans currently in the lead, Great Britain rider, 2:57.
And Dale Russell with a 3:07.9, 3rd place. Nicely done from the Great Britain rider right there, Si.
Yeah, riding on that Scott Gambler. Russell, one of the big names over there in the UK, does a lot of the BDS races, British Downhill Series. Next rider up, he's looking strong on this one.
Remy Metallier, the Frenchman, flying off that jump. Getting a little nose heavy there, but pulling that one up. That could be disastrous. A 3:05.97, so he'll get into 3rd place for Remy Metallier. Well, the guy that's been in the hot seat for a while now, Craig Evans, he's still in for a while now. Craig Evans, he's still in there from Great Britain. Let's send it down to Tristan Merrick with our current hot seat occupant. Tristan?
Thanks, guys. This was our first pro man down the course today, Craig Evans. He's still here. We've got some riders coming down. Craig, how was your run?
Yeah, pretty good, apart from like dabbed in the woods and slowed up a bit and then had to get going again. But other than that, we're pretty good.
What about track conditions? I mean, we saw a lot of rain the last couple of days. Are things dry up there? It doesn't look like there's much mud on you.
Yeah, it's dried up quite a lot, but it's still slightly greasy in the woods.
How are the ruts?
Yeah, they're getting deep now.
And we were just chatting. Are you going to head up to Heckler's Rock if you do get knocked off this hot seat?
Yeah, I'll probably head up and have a few beers and that, yeah.
Well, make sure if you go up there, go say hi to Jackie for us. Back up to you guys in the booth.
You know, when you're the first guy coming out, he's gone through a lot of riders have not taken down that time. So big props to Craig Evans, putting out a decent time with that 2:57. Last year was 2:44. So not too far over there, about 13 seconds over the best time from last year.
You know, and he'll like these track conditions that will suit any of the European riders that are used to it being a little bit slippier. You know, it's not muddy out there. The guys will not be running the spike mud tires, but perhaps not the full Maxis like the Minions, maybe something like the Maxis High Roller to just give them a little bit more edgy grip in some of those corners and on some of those slippier rocks and sections up on that course.
Well, a great crowd on hand. I'll tell you what, sometimes on the last day, the final day of Crankworx, not so much with the bigger crowd, but today, I'll tell you, in the last 8 years I've been doing this, the big crowds coming out here on the Canadian Open DH, just becoming a mainstay for your Sunday, that's for sure. The final event for Crankworx 2013. Hard to believe, 10 days that this has been going on, 10 years as well. So the decade of Crankworx. Time to check in over at Heckler's Rock. We got Jackie Montgomery. Let's see what's going on at Heckler's Rock. Jackie?
Always a party up here at Heckler's Rock. It's getting a little crazy. Right now we have Richie Slay. Richie, you said this is your first time really hanging out up here. How has that happened? I mean, you're a Whistler local.
I guess probably usually too hungover on the Sunday, but I see that everybody's just, the party never stops at Crankworx.
You even had a chant up here. They were chanting Richie Slay when he was walking up. Kind of the popular one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool here. This culture is so awesome. Everybody seems to be totally into it, so I thought I better come check it out. If the sun comes out, I might even get my shirt off, who knows?
You know what they say, sun's out, guns out, Richie.
Exactly, I'm waiting.
They're actually kind of calm right now. I'm surprised that they're not louder. We're just waiting for another rider to go by, and that's when it's gonna start heating up, so.
They seem to love you.
I had my own chant as well.
What's with the shirt? Well, you gotta get the shirt off.
That's why I'm all the way down here, not all up there. Had to stay down here. They wouldn't let me up, so guys, send it back to you.
Yeah, you better get out of there quick. Richie's already calling you out on going shirtless right now. It could be trouble for you. So that is 134. Cy crossed the line.
Yeah, that will be Alberto Gonzalez, probably the Mexican rider there. So it's a big international field. A lot of South American riders in the house at the moment, making the big pilgrimage up to Crankworx Whistler. And it's like being back at home in a pub in London. You know, it's full of Australians, New Zealanders. So many riders from around the world.
That's
here.
120. Alan Cook right here, former pro BMX rider, putting it across the line. Nicely done, Alan Cook, 3:14.02. That'll put him in 12th place. I've known that guy since he was about 15 years old, competing on the early X Games and the B3s back in the day, and he's making the switch out there, riding some downhill. Let's hear it for Alan Cook, putting up a decent time for him. Like to see that. Good job, Alan.
And on board we have there the Jeep standing, so currently in the top spot, still Craig Evans in that hot seat with a time of 2:57, only by 0.2 of a second in front of Cameron Allenby. Then it's Michael Daniels, Remy Matalia, and then Dale Russell. They're rounding out the top 5 at the moment. Next up on course is Luis Cervantes Cortez, the Mexican.
And here he goes, the time for Luis Cervantes Cortez, 3:33.86. Put him in 21st spot right there for Luis Cervantes. All right, well, we got more of the men crossing the line here. Field, 144 guys coming up. Will Steve Smith go back to back to back? Stick around, it's coming up. More guys cross the line when we return. He's trying to do what I don't think has ever been done in the history of Crankworx, and that's win all 3 DH races.
Steve Smith going for the 3-peat. Never been done before. Will it ever be done again?
Steve Smith has done it. He has won the Jeep Canadian Open DH. He won the Garbo DH, the Air DH. He's your Triple Crown Crankworx champ for 2012.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler. Crankworx, Whistler. All right. Canadian Open, downhill.
And back to Crankworx Whistler. Final day, 10 days. Day 10, also year 10 going on. Decade of Crankworx out here in Whistler. Crowd's getting bigger and bigger. Cy Payton, Brad J here at the Pink Bike booth, bringing it to you on crankworx.com, redbull.com/bike. And we're going to try and catch up with Cam Zink in a little bit, too. Cam Zink, the silver medalist from Speed and Style way back on a week ago from yesterday out there on Saturday. And also a two-time Red Bull Joyride winner as well. A member of the 2 Club, Si.
2 Club.
I just made that up yesterday.
Maybe we'll be in the 3 Club one day. We've also got stood behind us Rob Warner as well, so we might have a quick chat with him in a short while.
All right, taking a look at the screen right here. Sean Muir right here with his time checking in. So Sean Muir with a 2:57.68, knocking Craig Evans down to second. So Sean Muir now taking over that giant hot seat. Ride Life, Ride Giant. So a little changeover, just barely beating that time. So Steve Smith, you got to think that he is just the favorite to do the three-peat out here today, right? To go 3 back-to-back years.
You know, local rider, the Canadian, riding for a Canadian company, Da Vinci Bikes. You know, that's going to carry a lot of weight. Look at the size of the crowd. They're going to be cheering on coming down this last jump, as well as up on Heckler's Rock and the rest of the course up there. You know, that's got to be worth a second or two, that homegrown support. So, yes, fingers crossed for him. You know, we'd like to see him, but he's going to have a challenge on his hand. There's some top riders here. We've got from France, the junior, the hotshot Luke Bruning. We've got Mick Hanna as well, Marcelo Gutierrez, who won the Gabonzo downhill. So this will be a walk in the park for him, going from 13 minutes down to 3 minutes. Brooke McDonald as well, Sam Blenkinsop. You know, we've got guys in there that literally all of those have won, or certainly podium on top of a UCI World Cup. So we have got a stacked international field here that is really going to put Stevie Smith under some pressure.
All right, well, a guy that we're going to be seeing on course, Andrew Needling. He has done some big stuff, took the bronze last year, 2012, got the silver in 2011, and he's looking for his first win, and actually his 3rd straight podium. But we had a chance to catch up with Andrew Needling earlier in the day, and this is how that broke down. This is Andrew Needling. Check it out.
I'm here with Andrew Needling, who's finished on the podium the last 2 years. But Andrew, we're not going to see you in the race today. Are you feeling okay? What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all good. We've just had a long week here at Crankworx, had a great time. It's just been awesome, the 10th anniversary. And yeah, I've been on the podium before. I've actually been quite up for a win here. And I did a bit of practice, and I've decided to sit this one out. I've just had a long week, came straight from Mount St. Anne, and I've got a bit of focus on world champs. And with the wet conditions, I wasn't riding myself, and I wasn't committed, I think, because my mind's on something else, and I'm going to try to play it a bit safe. But it's tough watching a race, so we'll see how it pans out later on.
So like I said, you finished on the podium the last 2 years, so you know what it takes. What do we need to see out of these athletes if they want to finish in the top spots?
Today, a pretty clean run. Any slip on those slabby rocks, you're going to lose a lot of time. I saw Stevie and Marcelo already. They're looking dirty this morning. They've both had crashes, so it's a fine line between knowing how hard you can push on those rocks. That's going to be the key today, is pushing it hard enough. You might come down with a clean run, but you haven't pushed hard enough, so it's going to be a tough one for those guys.
Andrew and I were just reminiscing about Crankworx. He's been here all week, and he actually was telling me that he competed in the very first slopestyle event here at Crankworx. So just looking back at the 10 years of Crankworx, what has been your fondest memory?
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing. I actually someone had to remind me that I did the slopestyle, like it was the first one. And geez, I think winning A-Line and taking down Lopes' crown at that time, no one had beaten Lopes on A-Line. He had this big streak, and I didn't even expect it. Giant got me sort of an A-Line bike to try out, and it worked, and I took down his crown. So for me, that's my fondest memory. You know, it was unexpected. No one thought we could take down Lopes on that course, and now we got Stevie, who the next year won and now won again. So, geez, but all the slopestyle, just watching, you know, a lot of them are my friends, and it scares the living daylights of me watching them, and just the progression of the sport, the spectators, and everyone just. I think my fondest memory is riding with all my friends on all the jump trails. Just, you know, high-fiving after a run or two. It's just too cool.
Definitely a family environment here. Lots of friendships between all of these teammates. Well, best of luck to you at Worlds, and we'll see you later on today.
Thanks so much. Enjoy, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Brad Jay, here up in the booth calling all the races across Sean Muir right now with a 2:57.68. He's in your giant hot seat. And Craig Evans in second, and Cameron Allenby in that third spot. But right now, the guy we have up in the booth with us, with Si and myself, Cam Zink in the house. good to have him on. And the Cam Zink, of course, the silver medalist from Speed and Style. And that seems like a year ago, but that was just about 7-8 days ago. We did that on Saturday. And also a member of the 2 Club. You know what that means? He's won slopestyle twice. Only 3 guys to ever do that. Cam, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. Just watching some Canadian Open.
I like ending with the Canadian Open on the last day. It seems kind of fitting, doesn't it?
Yeah, let the racers just, train all week, stay serious. And then after slopestyle, we get to hang out and then just have a lazy day watching racing.
How fun was that battle that you had for Speed and Style coming away with that silver medal? It looked like you guys just had a lot of fun riding that course.
It's a great event. You mix just good bike riding. It's like you got to be a good racer, you got to be good at tricks, and someone that's really good at either, but not, the other isn't going to do well. So you have to just, it's something I've always taken pride in, just being a good bike rider, not just some trick bandit or just a strict racer. You got to be good at bike riding.
Yeah, not just a one-trick pony type guy just going to compete in the best trick. Now, you were unable to get out there and compete, or actually by your choice not to compete yesterday in slopestyle. You had a crash in practice. That kept you out, didn't it?
Yeah, I got knocked out on Wednesday, last 15 minutes practice. And, it's tough because, I felt okay yesterday, but it's the one injury you can't mess with. You only have one head. It's not like I've ridden with every injury under the book, So the head you can't mess with, though. It's not like riding with a hurt knee or hurt shoulder and deal with the pain. It's just not smart.
How you doing right now? Is everything kind of clearing up? Your head coming back to normal now?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Like I said, I felt pretty good yesterday. Just, that's what sucks. It's like sitting, watching it, feeling good, but just knowing it's not responsible. I got a baby on the way, and people become retarded and die after second impact syndrome. It's something that we should tell the kids out there. Don't mess with your head, and if you get a head injury, you got to sit out for at least a week or 2.
And that's a good one to say to the kids out there, the young crew out there, right side. You want to explain that to the kids too.
Yeah, we see a lot of the guys wearing the open face helmets and stuff, which is fine when they're out riding, but we do see people get concussions, and we see it sometimes at the races all across the world. Sometimes you have a battle to take that number. We have to take the number board off the riders and say, look, you guys, girls, you're not racing. We've got to take that off, And what Cam's just said there, I tell you what, you guys back at home, you've got to listen to that because that is wise words.
So now, when do you think you're going to be back on there? You're going to be at Claw's event?
Yeah, I'm going to get checked out. 2 weeks should be good enough, and I got a new helmet, fresh helmet, and it should be good for Claw's. Take it easy during the week and just relax, and then be there ready to take a win next week.
We're not going to play any beer hockey in between now and then?
I'm not saying that.
Cam Zink, silver medal, Speed and Style out there. Also, member of the 2 Club. That's 2 wins in slopestyle, and that's hard to do. Only 3 members of that club, and this dude is one of them. Cam, thanks for being on the show with us. Appreciate it, man. Cam Zink, everybody. All right, back to the racing action for you. Canadian Open D8 Cy. How are we looking so far? Sean Meir looking really good. 2.57.68, holding down to that spot right there. And Craig Evans in that second spot. Cameron Allenby in third.
Right, Jeep standards at the moment. Meir there at the top on that 257. Congratulations to Cam Zink and family. New one on the way. That's going to change his life.
Well, why not? Cams are having kids. Cam McCall just had a kid a little over a couple weeks ago, and now Cam Zink's got one on the way. They're growing up right before our eyes. Robert Venables right there, a 3:05.49, getting a little tangled up there. 27th spot for Venables.
And you know what? The best thing about what you just said is that message to the kids, and that is from one of the top riders in the world. If you do have a concussion, you guys need to sit out for a little while and take some medical advice and just chill out and relax, Come back and fight another day.
And I'll tell you what, talking to him yesterday, talking to Cam about it, he did not want to sit this one out. And it was his choice to sit it out. He would have been able to do it if he wanted to do it, but he knew that's not something you want to do. Be smart. Cam Zink, live to ride another day. Solid dude, man. What a great ambassador to the sport of slopestyle. Here we go. Our next rider coming across, Benjamin Yeager, checking in with a 3:22.56. Top 30 with that time right there. And top 30 with 144 people. That's pretty big.
Yeah, will it stand, though? Because I tell you what, once we get to this last page, these last 40 riders, these are all household family names. Everyone will know these guys that'll be coming down. Jordan Hodder there, the Canadian, 12th place. 3:09 on the 167 plate.
That's a pretty good time right there. Our next rider into view right now.
And these jumps that you just see up there, they will be bulldozed straight after this event. They will not allow those to be open because it crosses that major access road. So unfortunately, if you do want to ride those, what you're going to have to do is get yourself booked on to Crankworx Whistler next year. Get yourself entered in advance to these races. It's pretty much open to anyone. Obviously, make sure you're a good rider, but you know, the Europeans, we'd love to see more of you over here as well from the rest of the world. Come and do some racing, get yourself onto this big stage and come and make a name for yourself.
Well, here comes plate number 78 on the way through.
Jason Gioro there, the Canadian, going high. He crosses that finish line. He goes 34 through the 330. That rider just through there, that was... Let's do with him change his number board around so we can see it. That was Jason Gioro there, the Canadian rider. He did the 34th place, 3 minutes 30. Dan Sims. He's crossed the line on 3:02. He went 5th place. Good time for Dan Sims. Next rider up.
And Matt Hardwick. Look at that time, a 3 minute 94, 4th place. Top 5 for Matt Hardwick. That's a good time right there. Anything right around that 3 mark, you got to feel pretty good about that. Matt Hardwick liking that one. Just getting word that Nick Geddes on course. Bass Van Steenbergen also on course right now.
Yeah, Jamie Billock, is that him now? The Canadian on the 63 plate, going big, trying to avoid the win. He's getting a little blustery down here. Top 5 for him, 3:01.
So some fast times being put up right now as we get towards 4 pages of riders, 144 in this pro class. And this is also, you see some of the guys that compete in the amateur division kind of trying to move up, and this is an opportunity for them to get in there. Now we look back up top.
It's certainly a place to go and get a name for yourself. We saw Marcelo Gutierrez there as a junior. He can. Oh, this is Nicholas Geddes, the Canadian rider, just outside the 3 minutes at the moment. He goes big.
There he goes, crossing the line. Nick Geddes, 3:06.03, 11th place for Nick Geddes. And what a story that kid has had, man. Had a battle through leukemia, coming back. And what a great story to see him out competing again. Just kicked the butt of cancer like it was nobody's business. Good job, Nick Geddes. Good to see you here in the pro class.
Yeah, and a great time there, 3:06, just outside the top 10 at the moment. So great result for him so far.
So we should be seeing Bass Van Steenbergen pretty quick here coming up for just a little bit. And we'll check back with you guys in just a little bit. We got tons of riders coming down this course, making their way down. Your final event, Canadian Open DH, 10 years of Crankworx Whistler. And we'll be back with more of our pro class men when we come back after this.
Something cool is about to go down. Brought to you by the refreshingly cool taste of Bud Light. Light it up.
And you're probably wondering, well, why should you even check out redbull.com/bike, right? Well, the deal is, man, you need to check it out. Click on over and see it for yourself. Got it going on, redbull.com/bike. It's a great source for tons of high quality bike related content that does not suck. If you haven't checked it out yet, you really should spend some time. Go check it out, man. It's redbull.com/bike.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler.
He's trying to do what I don't think has ever been done in the history of Crankworx, and that's win all 3 DH races.
Steve Smith going for the 3-peat. Never been done before. Will it ever be done again?
Steve Smith has done it. He has won the Jeep Canadian Open D8. He won the Garbo D8s, the Air D8s. He's your Triple Crown Crankworx champ for 2012.
Crankworx Whistler. All right. Canadian Open Downhill.
And Bass Van Steenbergen crossing the line with a time of 3:02.73. So Bass climbs in that 10 in the top 10 in 8th with that time, Si. All right, well, I think it's about time to check in with Tristan Merrick. He's got a special guest down there. I think it's the Claw hanging out with him. Let's head it downstairs to Tristan Merrick with the Claw.
That's right, guys. I'm down here with the guy known as the Claw. To everybody else, it's Darren. We saw him racing earlier this week, and then, of course, we saw him last night in the big show, the Red Bull Joyride. Darren, how was last night for you?
Oh, man, it was a super awesome event for all of us. The weather turned out to be awesome, and the boys threw on a pretty killer show, and it's pretty stoked for all the boys, throwing on a big show for everyone and having a good old time.
How about that course? I mean, you guys, as athletes, have had a lot of input. They've been very open about it. Was it one of the best?
Absolutely. It was by far the best course we've had in 10 years. You know, you got to throw a lot of props to all the boys and all the crew involved to get the course like that into the shape and, you know, making it all work and flow. So pretty damn pumped on how everything turned out.
And we were supposed to see you racing today, but you're saying you're a little bit sore from your first run crash last night. What happened?
Yeah, I took a little bit of a digger on an Ollie 3 yesterday and got a bit of a Charlie bruise on my thigh here. So not too much pedaling going on for me today.
It's been cool how we're seeing you racing lots. But coming up next week, it's your own event. That's the next stop on the FMB Tour. Maybe tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, the Bear Claw Invitational. I've had it, I think, about 6 years now. And it's going to be up in Mount Washington. You guys can check it out at redbull.com/bike, I believe it's on. Live webcast. So stay tuned for that if you're not able to make it over on the island. And stoked to have all the boys. There's a pretty big lineup of guys coming over. And there's also the amateur contest so that the young up-and-come gunners will get a good shot to get in the big show. So that'll be this Saturday coming up and pretty fired up.
And you were saying new course, new features. Is there anything that's going to catch the riders off guard?
Yeah, absolutely. I brought back the hitching post, and that's going to be a pretty interesting feature for the boards because we haven't seen one of those in a contest for quite some time. So you're going to incorporate a little bit of skate park skills and a little bit of big mountain skills in there as well.
It's going to be an exciting event. Like Darren said, tune in online to watch that stuff. But obviously, the race at hand right now, what's your take for later on? Who's your pick?
Well, I'm going to be rooting for my boy Stevie Smith. I know he's got some stuff to prove, and he's got the win here last year, so he's coming out swinging.
I'm not going to lie, I'm not supposed to be biased, but that's my pick as well. Being Island boys, Stevie's an Island kid. Back up to you guys in the booth. Darren, thanks for your time.
Yeah, you can watch Claw's event's going to be on there next Saturday. You can check it out, redbull.com. It is a gold stop on the FMB Tour. Big props to Darren Bearclaw holding it down out there and having that competition. We did see a rider go down real hard that we saw, and we will clarify. I think we might be able to take a look at that in a little bit, but let's focus on this next rider here.
Sorry, Brad, there's Jack Isles, I believe. No, this is Philippe Ricard. Sorry, the Canadian rider. He comes through. 34th place, 3:16. Jack Isles is on course. Maybe the rider that's gone down is Philippe Sands, the Chilean rider. Let's see who this one is. I think this is Jack Isles here coming big into the finish arena.
Oh, this is him right there. There we go. The time for Jack Isles of 3:04.13. Top 10 for Jack Isles. Let's hear it for Jack, the local boy, getting up there in that top 10. Showing these pros that he's going to be gunning for him years to come. Jack Isles. Jack Isles been on the podium for so many of our amateur events this year in the 10-year anniversary of Crankworx.
So I believe it's Philippe Sands there, the Chilean rider. We've lost him at the moment, just at the side of the track. This might well be rider 196. Ignacio Rojo there, the Chilean rider. He's currently on 3:14. Yeah, this is him, the Chilean, coming up over the big jump. And that is a big jump, over 62 feet there. And the wind is really getting up down the bottom, so that must be testing the riders as they're heading down this final straight. And they hit that big last jump and getting some big air over that hip. The riders really are starting to motor down this last section of the course. Look at the speed that they've got as they hit this last jump. Katie Shack there, the Chilean rider. He goes 31st place with a time of 3 minutes, 14 seconds.
All right, our leaderboard up right now. Mir, Evans, Allenby, Hardwick, and Ruffin on your Jeep standings mini leaderboard right there. That's how it's playing out. Number 244 was a top time last year. Steve Smith did that. The triple threat Steve Smith won all 3 DH events last year. We'll see if he can go back to back to back. But up here in the booth right now, Cy Payton and a very tall guy. Who's this tall dude that's standing next to us, Cy? It's not you, I know that.
This guy needs no introduction. This man here is Rob Warner, or should we actually call you by your official title?
Yeah, if you would, please, Si. I'd appreciate it.
Here, Cy, do you want to stand on that right there?
I might have to stand on something to talk to Rob Warner. I might have to kneel on it.
There you go. There you go.
He's a big lad. What is your official title, please? Tell us.
Lord, I'm a lord.
What are you actually lord of?
About a square foot of land in Scotland that I bought for £20 on the internet. LordTitles.com, I can't recommend it enough. You can become a lord or a lady for £20. It's great.
I would love to be a lady for £20, Rob. If that floats your boat, I'm on it. Get the money out your back pocket now, we'll do it. So tell me, what sort of privileges does that bring for you, when you're travelling across the places like this to Crankworx Whistler?
It works all the time. I get bumped up to business class a lot on the old planes. And the other day I was on one and the bursar came over and apologised at the end of the flight because he hadn't been calling me Lord Warner. He was like, I'm really sorry, I just saw your title. And then he actually, before I checked in to go home, he bumped me up again back to business as an apology, so it does work. Best 20 quid you'll ever spend.
That sounds like a plan. Now, I know back in the day, some will say, he's not here, so we can say it, I don't know if he's listening, but you used to be a better rider than Steve Peat. Technically, on the courses.
Now, you were saying this earlier, too.
What can you tell us about that, Rob?
Our careers took different paths, I think it's fair to say. But, if you go back like if you go back 20 years, I had him covered till about, end of 96, 97. We pretty much were about, I think we battled in 97, and then after that, I kind of decided that I had a good contract for plenty of money, and it was time to go off the rails. So I just ended up partying most nights before the race.
Well, wait a minute. You know what? Now, Rob, I want to tell you that now, Cy says that he used to beat Danny Hart. Do you believe that one, man?
Yeah, when Danny Hart was probably like 7 or 8 years old, I think he might have had a chance. Yeah, he might have beat him with a stick now inside. I think that's probably what he's talking about.
So you got a rebuttal for that one, man?
Well, I'd just like to talk about your past career, Rob. I'm just looking at the time at the moment. We've got Sean Meir, USA, 2 minutes 57 on the clock. He's currently in the hot seat, so he's had a good run so far. Tell me, what would happen if it rained? What difference could that make to say, no disrespect, a virtually unknown rider sat in the hot seat with some of the top riders to come down? Perhaps he might be wearing a skin suit. He might have took the peak off his helmet. Sorry, what was that?
I never took the peak off a helmet.
But you did wear the skin suit.
Everyone was wearing skin suits then. There was nothing wrong with Lycra. I love Lycra. What's wrong with you?
What happened then? So possibly then, if it did rain this afternoon, Steve Smith, everyone could be out of it, and a relatively unknown rider could take the win and make a name for himself. Is that true?
If he's lucky and he takes the big win here because it rains, he could be dining out on it for like another 20 years. I haven't. I ain't complaining. If it rains, it's all good. Just make sure you get down before the shower starts.
Right, I don't know if we can follow that, but thanks, Rob. It's always great.
Rob Warner in the booth with us right now. These guys taking the piss out of each other. I love that, man. That's fun stuff. We'll be right back. Calling more races across the line after this.
If you're into biking, then you need to check out redbull.com/bike. BMX? Yep. Trials? Indeed. World Cup DH? Of course. Free ride mountain biking? Got that. Haven't checked out redbull.com/bike? What the heck are you waiting for? Get on there today.
Something cool is about to go down. Brought to you by the refreshingly cool taste of Bud Light. Light it up.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler.
He's trying to do what I don't think has ever been done in the history of Crankworx, and that's win all 3 DH races.
Steve Smith going for the 3-peat. Never been done before. Will it ever be done again?
Steve Smith has done it. He has won the Jeep Canadian Open D8. He won the Garbo D8, the Air D8. He's your Triple Crown Crankworx champ for 2012.
Crankworx Whistler. All right. Canadian Open Downhill.
And back to the pink bike booth here. Crankworx Whistler Canadian Open DH. Final event, final category. Pro men on course for you right now. And right there, James Swindon with a 2:54.47. He's the new hot seat right there. James Swindon taking care of it right there with a 2:54.47. That is a fast time sign. He's going to grab the giant hot seat right there.
Yeah, great time there for James Swindon, knocking the American out. James Swindon in top spot, 2:54. Sean Neer on a 2:57, and Craig Evans on a 2:57. They're your top 3 at the moment. Looking there, riding that Santa Cruz bike. James Swindon, top spot at the moment. Next coming in, Chris Barlin. Then it's Dan Stambridge riding for Dirt Norco. So coming in hot there, Chris Barlin, 3:06. He goes 21st place. Next up will be Dan Stambridge, then Rodrigo Farias there, the Chilean rider. Stambridge up next, looking for that distinctive Dirt Norco race team kit. Here he comes flying through.
Getting those pedal strokes in and trying to clear the big booter at the bottom, clearing that out, crossing the finish line.
Dan Stambridge, he crosses the line.
3:01.39, so Dan Stambridge will get in that 8th spot, top 10 right there. All right, let's check downstairs with Tristan Merrick, standing by with our guy in the hot seat. What's going on, Tristan? Who do you got down there?
Guys, I'm down here with our new current leader, James. He's coming all the way from over in England, part of the Steve Beat Syndicate. How are the track conditions for you?
Well, the track beat me up yesterday, to be honest. I had a couple of big crashes and yeah, it hurt. So today I took it a bit steady and then nearly went down around about Heckler's Rock. Got a bit of stick, but yeah, held it together and here we are.
In Heckler's Rock, that's probably the last place you ever want to have a crash or have a near miss because they'll point out your flaws. It's first time being to Whistler?
No, I came out here in 2008. Competed in amateur division, came second here, so hoping do something in the pros. We'll see.
And what an amazing and legendary course we have here. What's the favorite part of it for you?
This jump at the end is mega.
There you guys have it. Big 70-footer jump. Doesn't seem to scare him, and he's loving it. Back up to you guys in the booth.
I think we might have a new name for it. It's the mega jump right there at the end, the 70-foot booter. And we almost saw one of our competitors right now just go over the handlebars, able to pull that up and get through it. And that's some serious business right there.
Yeah, it is a big old jump. The riders really do have to be in 9th, 10th gear, pedaling away, spinning away that block. Make sure they get a big pull on this last one. It's a tabletop landing almost, slightly sloping down, but what you don't want to do is land on top of there, leaning forward and then gets bounced from the rebound of the rear suspension and get thrown over the handlebars as I saw someone do almost earlier. Elliot Jackson. That's not him. That'll be 65 Robert Fraser, who's coming in 5th place. So Elliot Jackson, we've lost him on course somewhere with time of 3:40. We're expecting him to be the next rider down. We know he likes to go big. There'll be Graham Pitts and Christopher McGlinchey there, the Irish rider. So currently top spot from the UK, James Swindon, Sean Neer next. Then Craig Evans in third, Cameron Allenby in fourth, Robert Fraser in fifth. Stevie Smith has just headed up onto the chairlift. We wish him well.
You got to, but what is he thinking right now? Stevie Smith going up top. He's won it 2 years in a row, going for the three-peat, won 3 downhill events last year. What's he thinking as he's going up that chairlift right now, Si?
Well, he must be confident after that win at Mountain Town. The win at the Air DH, the Fox Air DH. He's going up on the chairlift any time now. I tell you what, he'd be getting some support off those the fans up there at Heckler's Rock.
What do we got going on here? Uh-oh, someone is getting the shotgun going here.
That's Elliot Jackson in the purple Troy Lee race kit there, so I'm not quite sure what's going on up there. He seems to be having some fun. Stopped off for some refreshments.
And the rider, is it 74? Is that what I'm seeing right here? Yeah.
Yeah, riding on the G2 Zeroid there. Mikey Hayderer, we saw him in the Fox ADH, dressed as Super Mario. He's got a big old mustache. They love that over here. Mikey Hayderer.
Yeah, Hayderer just having fun. He's just doing his thing and enjoying himself. Slamming a brewski up there. That'll be a cold Bud Light. Sounds good to me right about now.
Yeah, he's friends with Carter Holland, BMX superstar, the guy from Black Market Bikes. He's been hanging around here with him a lot. Mikey Hayderer, we'll look forward to seeing him shortly. But crossing the line, Igo Guerrero, the Spanish rider. He goes 24th, 3 minutes, 6 seconds. Harry Heath is heading himself up the hill. British rider. All the pros are heading up there, get themselves up to the top of the hill in time. Give themselves about 20 minutes worth of warming up.
And there's another look at it as our riders are coming through it. Right there, that is 38. That is Kyle Strait. He was third in speed and style, took the bronze medal a week ago Saturday. So Kyle Strait now on course as he makes his way towards the bottom. Also, we'll be seeing Mikey Hayderer coming down too as well. Our top 5 shifting around a little bit on your Jeep standings. 254, Swindon near with a 257. Evans also with the 257. Allenby in 4, 258. 259 for Alvis de Borba in that 5th spot. But 244 was the winning time last year, and they're about 10 seconds off that top time of last year, Si.
Yeah, some big names dropping in now. Mikey Hayderer from the USA. Then we've got Graham Mudd, Australian 4-cross national champion. He won the giant dual slalom in some treacherous conditions the other night. It was raining cats and dogs. Then it's Kyle Strait. He needs no introduction. Famous rider from the Red Bull Rampage. And then Christopher McGlinchey, Irish national champion. We have got some big names dropping in right in front of your eyes here at Crankworx Whistler, the Canadian Open. That is Mr. Mertz. He'll be riding that orange 322. And we should say, if he's watching out there, Michael Bonney, one of the main guys at Orange Bikes, took a horrendous crash, so he's going to be out for a long, long time. We'd like to wish Michael Bonney a speedy recovery. He's a good egg. We hope to see him back up and about anytime shortly. Right, this is Mr. Muddy. He's on course at the moment. He's not shy to getting that bike up in the air. He'll go big on this last jump.
Graham Mudd off the jump, putting it down. Rubber side down, cross the line. The time for Graham Mudd, 3:13.62. Also, like you were saying, the winner of our giant dual slalom just the other day in treacherous conditions.
Elliot Jackson getting the wibble and the wobble on. I saw him explode his front wheel. 20 of us doing big trains down A-line the other day. Elliot Jackson goes big on the whips. He's crossed that line. He was having some fun up there on Heckler's Rock.
Yeah, Hayderer and him were breakdancing on the rock as they're talking about it right there.
And we've got a new first place. Kyle Strait goes into the lead. Time of 2:51.91. Mike Hayderer is there on screen.
Yeah, Kyle Strait takes over the top spot. Let's hear it for Kyle Strait. A 2:52.91. 8 seconds off last year's winning time for Kyle Strait, your new leader. And there you go, our Jeep standing straight in the top spot. Swindon holding down 2, near in 3.
Yeah, Swindon's not going to be too upset being bumped out by the true legend that is Kyle Strait there. He's a big, strong lad riding in that Fox kit.
All right, I think it's about time we check in with Jackie Montgomery there at Heckler's Rock and see what kind of shenanigans are going on right now. Jackie, how are things going up there at Heckler's Rock?
We're being heckled right now, and Aaron Chase, my interviewee, is being heckled as well. So it's a good time. So I had to actually pull him out of Heckler's Rock. If you can't tell, obviously his shirt's off. What was the craziest thing you saw up there?
Well, I was just doing a downhill run, and I got pulled into this whole clan, so I'm not even sure what's going on.
We've seen people fall. We've seen a lot of carnage. We've seen a lot of beer bombs, and it's been a good time.
People are letting it loose right now.
Yes.
I think all the tension from the week is built up to this point right now. People are just letting loose.
Have you ever experienced Heckler's Rock before?
Yeah, I was here last year.
So you know what it's all about. This is my virgin year, so it was quite the experience.
Yeah, wow. I'm sure. Now you'll know what to expect next time.
Now I know. I've had some chants directed at me. I've even been proposed to. But yes, lots of fun. Yeah, lots of fun up here, guys. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, checking in. And just getting word that was a scoring glitch. So Kyle Strait is not in that top spot. Swindon still holding that down, 2:54. We'll see if we can get the correct time for Kyle Strait here. So 3:10.50 for Kyle Strait. That puts him down in the pack right there with that time. So taking our attention back up there. So right now, Swindon still in the lead, near in second, Evans in third.
Jack Isles now, the pot rider. He's on course. He's sat down. He's spent all of that energy on the top section. We've been to Casey Brown. She reckons this course is harder physically than doing the Garbanzo downhill. That's why she's out of it today. She's taking a rest. That collarbone is a little bit causing some concern for her at the moment, but here he comes through. This is Jack Isles. This is going to be a good time for him. Hitting this last jump, he's going to go big. Jack Isles. He's strong across that line. Jack Isles goes 16th place, just outside that 3-minute barrier. 3 minutes, 3 seconds for Jack Isles.
So the local boy, Jack Isles, crossing with that time right there for him. Still James Swindon, top spot. Sean Neer, second. Craig Evans, third. All right, let's check down in with Tristan Merrick. Tristan, what's going on down there in the hot seat?
For all of you guys at home, this was his second run today. Jack, why did you have to take a second run?
Some guy crashed in front of me, and they told me to stop, so I stopped. And then they let me go again a couple seconds later, but yeah, lost a lot of time there. So.
Well, how hard is it to do 2 full race runs? I mean, most guys are coming down here spent after one, and you've just done 2 now.
Yeah, it was really hard, but yeah.
Okay, back up to you guys in the booth there. As you can tell, he is spent. Time to have a cold muscle milk and call her a day.
All right, well, Mario Harin just crossing and getting a little squirrely there towards the bottom.
Using the full width of the track there, Brad.
Wow. He was running out of room quick. So Jack Isles having to do 2 runs out there because of the crash on course, and that's part of it, you know.
Yeah,
he's a young dude, and he's able to get back up there.
We've got some great marshals out there lining the track. So during the race runs, if a red flag appears, that means stop, and their riders will get another race run. It isn't always the best thing if it's at the top of the course. Sometimes they'll go back up to the start line. If they're more than sort of a third of the way down, they'll tend to come back down, speak to the commissaire at the bottom from Canada Cycling, and they'll send them back up and they'll get another race run. So not always the best, but safety first.
Yeah, indeed. That's just how it plays out. Tough break even for him. Now we got, look at that 173. Franco Riva now from Argentina making his way down here towards the bottom. Riva going to take the big booter here. Taking that down. Oh, getting a little there heavy. I'll tell you what, man, you have really got to put those pedal strokes in to clear that gap. That's for sure, Si.
Yeah, you do indeed. And I'll tell you what, somebody who knows about long courses, pedaling and some big jumps at the bottom, because he won the UCI World Championships at Fort William in 2007. Your next rider, riding out of Scotland on the 48 plate, is Ryan Cunningham. Rhubarb, we call him. 2:38 on the clock. I think he's riding that Trek bike. We saw him earlier up on course. He's been here a few days since Mount St. Anne World Cup. We are looking for Rory Cunningham.
And there's a shot of Hecklefest right there. as number 80, Mark Wallace, makes his way through. Mark Wallace out of Duncan, BC.
Rory Killingham, he crossed the line, 22nd place, 3:06.
Well, the guy who has won it the last 2 years in a row, and he's going for the three-peat, talking about Steve Smith. Well, Jackie Montgomery earlier in the day had a chance to catch up with Steve Smith and talk to him about this race, and let's see how that played out. Jackie Montgomery and Steve Smith. Take a look.
Thanks so much, guys. I'm here with Steve Smith, who has won this event the last 2 years. Now, Steve, you've already been up on the course getting some practice in today. We've had a little bit of light rainfall. How's that affected things?
The track's actually really good. The dirt's amazing. The only issues up there's a lot of flat slab rocks, so those can be slippery, but all in all, the track's really good. I'm really enjoying it today.
Now, we saw you last competing in A-Line, and you said today you have a completely different bike. What did you decide to go with today?
Yeah, see, I've got my Da Vinci Wilson here, and that's the bike I race all the World Cups. It's meant for these gnarly, rough tracks like today, and yeah, that's the bike to race on this one.
What makes it so much more compatible for this race versus the A-Line?
Well, the A-Line's a lot of pedaling and a lot of smooth jumps and stuff, so you want a bike that's nimble and that just excels a lot better on the flat stuff, where the downhill bike can take the big hits and eat up the rough stuff and keep me going fast.
Well, today you're going for the three-peat in the Canadian Open, but is there anyone that you're nervous about that we need to possibly keep our eyes out for?
Yeah, for sure. There's obviously the contenders, you know, Mick Hanna, Sam Blenkinsop, Blake Bruni. Those guys are all fast World Cup racers and great riders. So try not to worry about them, but they're in the back of the head. I know they're here, and we'll see how it goes at the end.
All right, well, good luck today. Stevie Smith going for the three-peat in the Canadian Open downhill, guys.
And thank you so much, Mark Wallace. Across it right there, Mark Wallace checking in with a 2:56.16 in second place for Mark Wallace with that time.
Yes, if you want to be in that top 10, you're going to have to be a 3:01 or quicker. So Wallace there, the Da Vinci rider, he scores second place. But still in the lead, James Swindon from Great Britain with that time of 2:54. He's still in that hot seat. As we look up there at the Jeep standings, Wallace in 2, Near in 3, Evans in 4, Allenby in 5. Next rider up, Forrest Risco there, the Canadian. Then it'll be Jack Reddin. He's very familiar with the Whistlers, tends to spend most of his summers over here when he's not out there racing in Great Britain. Then we'll have David McMillan, the Australian rider. So Forrest Risco there, the Canadian rider, looking smooth on that big hip jump there. Carrying a lot of speed into this last jump. Catching the downside nicely.
And a good time at 2:56.28 for Forrest Risco from Canada. Third place with 2:56.28. And you see the times right now, side 10 seconds off the top time. James Swindon, 2:54. Steve Smith had the 2:44. You think still, are you on that program, that 44 is going to get beat this year?
Well, they're 10 seconds back. I see, well, we've got about another 30 or so riders to go. I see a time around about 2:42 coming through on this one for Stevie Smith or anybody that's going to be in that top spot. But let's wait and see. We will know very, very shortly after 5 o'clock who is going to take the big win here at the Canadian Open at Crankworx Whistler.
Indeed we do. We got another rider on course here now coming into view. This is plate 29 coming at you, Jack.
Jack Redding out of the UK. He goes big. We've seen him do bigger jumps than this up at Moultrie. Only him and the Athertons have ever really done that. He's going strong.
And Jack Redding right there with a 2:56.03. Redding into second place with that time.
He's going to be happy with that. He punctured in the Garbanzo downhill, one track that he really does love to race here. But a good time for Jack Redding there. So on course at the moment, I think this is David McMillan, the Australian, on the 47 plate. He stood up trying to get some more pedals in just before he drops into the top of the boneyard there. As the riders sweep down this into that left-hander. Start to hear the roar of the crowd. They're waiting here at the bottom. Either go big or go home on this big jump. You know what, now we're getting to these last 30 or 40 riders or so. Pretty much everyone is going to be doing this big jump, we hope. And here he comes, David McMillan. Will not disappoint. He sides it out. He comes 10th place, 3 minutes on the clock dead for David McMillan, the Australian.
All right, top 10 for him. Let's send things downstairs to Tristan Merrick right now. Tristan, who do you got with you, man?
I got Jack Redding down here right now with us. We're just chatting about course conditions. Jack used to live here. He's gone home. He's been training lots back there, doing the World Cups. How's this course compared to a World Cup course?
Oh, this course is on par with the World Cup, dude. I mean, it's about time Whistler had a World Cup, to be honest, and that track would live up to it for sure.
Would the World Cup be prepared for Heckler's Rock and all the abuse that would be thrown at competitors?
I'm not sure if the UCI officials would be able to deal with it. I think they'd have a heart attack. Heckler's Rock is the best thing on the circuit. We all love it. More races should have stuff like that.
And you've been at Crankworx for so many years. What's your special moment?
Third at Garbanzo is still my special moment. I want to win it one day. I punctured it earlier in the week, so next year.
Well, all the best in the future, dude. We'll go back up to you guys in the booth.
And Kirk McDowell, 3:03.42. Thanks a lot, guys. 20th place for Kirk McDowell. Crossing the line with that time here at Canadian Open DH.
We're getting on to the fast boys now. Remy Gauvin there, the Canadian. Austin Warren, the pivot rider. Then we've got Ed Masters. You heard from his brother Wim Masters earlier. Took a tumble on that pump track. Looked like he'd done 5 rounds with Mike Tyson.
A young Mike Tyson, not like Mike Tyson nowadays, right?
Yeah, he's still got his ears intact.
Yeah. So we're getting to our final page out here. Canadian Open DH, 144 pro men.
That was Adam Brayton, the Keswick Kestrel, was in the starting gate there, the Hope Technology rider. This man coming in now, the Canadian, on the 67 plate. That should be Remy Gauvin. Looking to see him drop into the bottom section of this course. Here he comes through. Spectators getting in on the action, claiming himself some fame there. Look at this Canadian style.
Remy Gauvin, here he comes. Remy Gauvin out there, airing it down, coming across the line. Remy checking in with a 3:21.98. Remy Gauvin. Another look at Heckler's Rock, the Heckle Fest in full swing. What do we got going on here?
I have no idea what we have going on, but it's entertaining.
That's Ed Masters right there. What's Ed doing? Taking a little break? Gonna get himself a little refreshing beverage.
Could well be. Austin Warren should be the next rider down. USA rider, pivot rider. No, that's not him. That's Adam Brayton there on course. Now that is Austin Warren crossing the finish line.
Check the 2:58.44 for Austin Warren, 8th place with that time. Still no change in your top 3. You got James Swindon, now Jack Redding in that second spot. Mark Wallace in 3rd. James, Jack, and Mark, 1, 2, 3 right now. There's a look at it right there on your Jeep standings. 10 seconds slower than last year's winning time.
That shot that you can see there, that is the step up onto a big slab rock. That's on the entrance to Heckler's Rock. There's 4 little whoops, and you go up and around that big rock. You know, that's quite daunting on its own. They had to fill that in the other day because it was too much of a drop to flat almost. So the riders were going over the bars. So they filled that in, did a lot of groundwork, really prepared this track nicely. The boys have been up there doing a fantastic job preparing this track ready for race day.
All right, up there in the start right now, Bernardo Neves Cruz, also our whip champ from the other day in the start gate. How important is the start, Si?
You know, it's being that style. Like, you know, that guy lost a kidney when he was younger, and yet he's still back here racing. He's been 2 or 3 times Brazilian national champion. But yeah, you know, he's in the start gate now. The pressure is upon you. This is a world class. It's a big stage to present yourself on. And this is him. This is the Keswick Kestrel, as we like to call him. Adam Brayton broke his collarbone a week after at Fort William World Cup, a week after beating a lot of top names at the Saracen BDS over at Innerleithen. Got a great result there. Goes absolutely huge at that bomb hole. The cameras come out for him. And I guarantee you he'll go pretty big on this last jump. Adam Brayton on course riding that Santa Cruz V10, riding for Hope Technology. They're based out of Old Barnes, Oldswick, up there in the north of England. Here he comes, The Kestrel is flying. Adam Brayton, look at the power he puts down. He'll pedal across that line. It's going to be a good time, but not enough to beat Swindon. He goes 5th place, 2 minutes, 57 seconds for Adam Brayton, but still top 5 for him.
So Adam Brayton finishing up his run right there. Top 5 finish for him if that holds up. But the big names coming up for you. And I'll tell you what, Steve Smith looking for that three-peat. We'll be seeing him and not too far off right now as we make our way through this start list. 144 pro riders out here today.
This is Ed Masters going big, styling it out. Whoosh. Getting some his money's worth of the course there at the side.
So 80th place with this little stop over at Heckler's Rock for a little bit. There we go. There's a look at Heckler's Rock. And that is number 46, Bernardo Neves Cruz, the winner of our WHIP championship that went on the other day. But we'll be right back with more of these racers crossing line pro division. Right now it's your Canadian Open DH. We'll be right back right after this.
When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler. Crankworx, Whistler. All right. Canadian Open, downhill.
And back to the action right now. Next up, who do we got on course for us?
It's the whip-off official world champion. What's he going to do here? He whips it out. Bernardo Cruz there. He comes through 5th place, 256. Sven Martin needs a round of applause. He organises that official whip-off world champs. He got $1,500 in his back pocket for that. And that is a great event up on Crabapple Hits. Go and have a look up at them if you're still about next week. But I tell you what, don't get hitting them blind because that is a pro line only.
You know what? And I'll tell you what, you don't see very many guys whipping it off that 70-footer right there, but you saw it out of their whip champ. And of course, you and I were talking before he was coming down going, is he going to throw a whip down? Well, that just answers our question, doesn't it?
Yeah, you might as well get some style in there. You knew the cameras were going to be pointing at you, so you might as well make the most of it.
And there is a look at Heckler's Rock, the Heckle Fest that is. And shirts off when you're on the rock, no matter what the temperature is.
I do like the self-graffiti, that guy there with Get Loose written on there. Right, is this
That's
Ben Reed?
Yeah, Ben Reed, the Irish rider. Thiebaud Ruffin trucking in with a 2.59 to top 11 for Thiebaud.
Yeah, Thiebaud provided us with that excellent GoPro footage earlier up on course when he was doing some of his practice runs from this morning. We got that up on the screen for you earlier on. Right, next, this is Bernacan. And now, guys, ladies and gentlemen, 27.5, 650B, the brand new pivot. We saw this on pinkbike.com. RC Richard Cunningham got a quick scoop on that one. Bernard ran this in the whip-off contest. Still did quite well on it for a big rig. Surprising to see with that gyroscopic effect of those big wheels. We know they give you a little bit more grip. The verdict is still out. Will we see the 27.5 invasion coming into downhill mountain biking? Bernard Kerr on course, riding out of Great Britain at the moment. He will guaranteed go big on that last jump. Those big wheels carry him across the line into first place, 2:53, 1:39. Does that silence the 650B haters out there? We will find out. Now, we know Stevie Smith also won on a 27.5 in that A-line. That was a bit of a surprise for a lot of spectators, a lot of riders out there. People like Andrew Neveling going on that A-line, bringing the smaller bikes, like what Lopes did. But look at this, they seem to be moving to the 27.5s. That's Ben Reed, the Irish national champ. He's styling that out. He's riding an Orco. Now, he tends to ride a 27.5 as well, and we know he's ridden that up at Fort William, at the BDS, and at the World Cup. I'm not sure whether it is today. It's quite hard to tell from this distance.
Well, also let you know, Steve Smith and Blankenship, Marcelo Gutierrez, all three of those guys in the running for King of Crankworx. And a good finish out here today. Could actually cinch the deal for Steve Smith.
So here comes Ben Reed, absolutely flying, has a lot of power and a lot of style. Here he comes, he's riding that Norco Aurum. Is it the 27.5? You tell me down there. We'll find out later on. And his time is 12th place, 2:58. He's gone sub 3 minutes.
All right, well, let's send things downstairs. We got Tristan Merrick standing by with Bernard Kerr. Tristan, take it away, my man.
That's right, guys. I'm down here with him right now. We were just chatting about his run. Said it was a good one, but it's probably not going to hold up. How was the crowd for you?
Crowd's ridiculous, you know. It pumps you on so much and almost makes you go too fast in bits. And I had one big mistake, but they all cheer so hard, you're just straight back on it, which is pretty cool.
You're a bit of a self-proclaimed sender. You love the big jumps. You love airing it to flat. How was this course for you? It's one of the gnarlier ones we have out there.
Yeah, it's awesome. You've got such technical bits, but like you say, big jumps all the way down. It's just so much fun.
What's been your favorite moment of the week so far?
Whip-off's pretty cool. I think it's probably the best event in the world, so probably that.
Sweet, guys. Well, Bernard, thanks for taking the time to join us. We'll back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, catching up with Bernard Kerr right now. Your current leader with a 2:53.08. So 9 seconds off that top time. Here we go. This is 34 on course. Matt Walker.
Yeah, Matt Walker there running the wife beater. He's over that big jump. He's going to cross that line. Matt Walker, he goes 74th place with a time of 3:23.
And you see some of these times these guys are posting up, you maybe say, well, why is he in that spot? A lot of these guys are just having fun. They'll stop at Heckler's Rock and have a cold, refreshing Bud Light before they make their way back down this course. Enrique Genova now in the start. We'll be seeing him come down.
And Mitch Delfs is up there on Heckler's Rock. He stopped off for a bit of a respite. Saw him up there earlier, so we expect to see Mitch Delfs down in a minute or so. Then we'll have Harry Heath. Then it's local man Kyle Sangers. So that is Mitch Delfs there, the evil rider, doing that new section there, the Canadian Open across the road gaps, styling it out. Look at that for some overhead cable cam footage. Great to see that. Mitch Delfs having a look over his shoulder, giving us a wave. I'm sure he's going to go big over these last few jumps. Check it out. Get your cameras ready, folks. Mitch Delfs is going to drop into this boneyard very, very shortly.
And we'll be doing the awards at the base in the finish corral. So everybody who's hung out with us today, make sure you guys stay with us. The awards in the finish area for both amateurs and the pro divisions when we finish up here. Here's Mitch Delfs right here. 3:42, counting it down from Australia.
Delfs is taking this one easy. He's gone to the side there. Doesn't seem to be pedaling. Not sure whether he's had a mechanical or not. But this is Harry Heath. He crosses the line super quick. He goes 81st place riding on that Da Vinci. Pulling his right knee pad down, so I'm guessing he's had a bit of a crash. Been riding a lot with him over the winter. He's been on the 20-inch BMX. I've been on the cruise. We've been going to places like Crew BMX track where Shanice Reed trains. Next rider up on course. I think this is Kyle Sangers, their Canadian rider. Yes, that's him. He's on track. He stood up pedaling. Trying to get the power down. That seems like such a long straight when you're up on there. And your lungs are pounding backwards and forward and your heart's about to explode, but you've got to keep it going. Not much further than to go 20 seconds or so before you enter this boneyard. And these last few jumps will which is still no walk in the park. These are big, big jumps. As big as anything you would see, if not bigger on the World Cup circuit.
And Kyle Sangers pedaling hard over the big kicker, trying to whip it out just a little bit. There he goes, Kyle Sangers. His time, 2.56.58, top 10, 7th place for Kyle Sangers.
So anything under a 2:59, sub 3 minutes is going to get you into that top 15 for sure. Next up, another Chilean rider on the 131 plate, Enrique Genova there, 2:15 on the clock. As you can see, that was the step up there into Heckler's Rock. Oh, hanging it up a little bit there. This guy needs to get a bit more pedals down. This is Enrique Genova there. Maybe the fatigue setting in. A lot of these riders have done so many of the events here at Crankworx Whistler. You know what? You just can't get off your bike. You can't sit down here. If you're not doing the events, they're up there riding on the tracks, as we've seen the past few days. The likes of Brendan Fairclough, you know, up there dropping the runs down, the likes of A-Line. Just having some fun. Even Stevie Smith was out there blasting out the trains with Elliot Jackson and co. Great to watch.
All right, Enrique Genova making his way down, putting in those pedal strokes off the big kicker at the bottom. Enrique Genova, his time, a 3:01.53, 23rd for Enrique Genova.
Yeah, he's down the Da Vinci ride. He's going to be happy with that, down in one piece. Luke Strobel next, Connor Farron. Then it's Chris Kavarak. Now we could see some danger to this time from the local man, Chris Kavarak, the Australian, won his first ever World Cup back in 2001. You know, had a massive win at Fort William World Cup with a margin of over 15 seconds. What can he do later? Luke Strobel on course from the USA. The USA, we need to see some American guys hitting this top spot. You guys invented this sport.
I'll tell you what, not seeing enough of those red, white, and blues, but here comes Luke Strobel. See if he can mix things up. Luke Strobel, 2:44 and counting. Here he comes, airing it out. This could be a good time for Luke Strobel. Where are my USA fans at? Luke Strobel off the big kicker, putting it down, whipping it out, crossing the line. Luke Strobel, 2:55.89, third place for Luke Strobel right there.
Right, next up, Connor Freer, the Australian rider who saw him in the Giant Dual Slalom. He was going very, very well. He knows he can handle himself on the downhill rig, on the big sled. Full 8 inches of travel here on this new carbon Kona. What can he do today? Looking in through these jumps, he's putting the power down. Has he saved enough energy? Has he exhausted himself over a hectic week here at Crankworx Whistler? Connor Fearon dropping into the top of the boneyard here. We shall see him any second now. Here he comes into that left-hander, setting himself up for this big right hand whip. Here he comes. Look at that. That is so fast. That's a huge gap on its own. He's putting the cranks down, tucking it, getting aerodynamic, styling now, clearing that by a mile. 2:55. He goes third place for Connor Farron, the Australian. Have we got any Australian fans out there? Put your hands together there for Connor Farron. Chris Kavarak, Net Kavarak Racing. I love this man. He rides on the flat pedals. Thwacker himself. Used to race at the World Cups, had some great wins there. He knows this course like the back of his hand. What can Chris Kavarak do down here? There's a lot of training days. You want to hook him up, learn how to ride a bike properly. He is the master at this. He has been on the World Cup circuit for around about 12, 13 years. He knows exactly what he's doing. Based originally from Australia, now living over here in Whistler.
And here he comes right now. He took third in 2008. Chris Kavarak pedaling hard. He's going to try and get the big kicker. Here he goes, Chris Kavarak. What's it going to be? Airing it out, bringing it down, bouncing a bit, but 2:57.92, 14th for Chris Kavarak. It just shows you how many pedal strokes you've got to put in before coming to that big kicker at the bottom. You see him bouncing just a little bit right there.
Right, next up, Bernard Gardier from Spain, riding for GoPro cameras and on that intense bicycle. Here he is, the big tall man. Trying to get those pedals down. That's, as I said, so hard going along that. You know, you want some fresh air. At least you know you're coming to the end of the race. Your 3 minutes or so is nearly up of pain. Here we see him jumping that step down. And we see Stevie Smith earlier. He was really diagonalizing that jump in from the screen, from right to left. Will we see him do that later on? We will find out shortly after 5 o'clock. Bernagardia there. Crosses the line. He goes 12th place with a time of 2 minutes, 57 seconds. So still in the top spot, Bernard Kerr in 1, 2:53. James Swindon in 2 from Great Britain with a 2:54. And Conor Fearon there, the Australian, on that 2:55. On screen, 6 times Swiss national champion. That will be Nick Beer running the Da Vinci. He's been riding with his teammate Stevie Smith, so he will have shown him all the lines on this track. In comes the Red Bulls Swiss rider. He's going to get these pedals down. Watch him on this last jump. He's carrying a lot of speed down here. Gets the tuck.
Look at the time right now, Nick Beer. This is going to be a great time. Say hello to your new leader, Nick Beer, at 2:50.79 for the Swiss rider. And only 6 seconds off that top time from last year for Steve Smith time, Si.
Yeah, Stevie Smith, 2:44 last year. Nick Beer would have been following his tail this morning in practice and yesterday in practice up until 2 o'clock. They were practicing the Canadian Open, then the course was closed and they were up there walking the course, making sure they knew that, as I said, like the back of the hand. Rider 100, Marcio Acuna there, the Chilean rider, 2:30 on the scoreboard at the moment. Then we go George Bannigan, and one of my favourite riders to watch, Brendan Fairclough, the Scott Gastad rider riding out of Guildford in the UK. But next, Marcio Acuna there, the Chilean rider. Mauricio there, he's going to hit this big one. Now you see a lot of the riders are tucking into this jump. It's too fast to be pedaling. They're almost out spinning that 9-10 speed block of theirs, so they get the aero tuck to try and carry the speed.
Well, it's time to check in with Tristan Merrick one more time. He is down there in the mix, in the corral. Tristan, take it away, my man.
That's right, guys. I'm down here with our new current leader, Nick Beer. Nick, tricky conditions out there. You're telling me you got caught out in a few areas.
Yeah, I messed up a couple of sections. It's a really sketchy race. It's short and you have to have a perfect round and no mistakes. And yeah.
What's your mental approach on these races that are sub 3 minutes? Like you said, you can't really ease into it. You have to be on it out of the gate.
Yeah, you can't ride passion. You have to attack all the time. And especially in the woods, it's easy to mess up. So.
Fair enough, guys. Well, that's Nick Beer, our new current leader. Again, a little bit down from last year's winning time. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Well, here comes George Brannigan coming across the line for him. Oh, 2:52. Second place for George Brannigan, the Kiwi. And now we see Brendan Fairclough, Sam Blankenship, Brooke McDonald, Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas, Sick Buchanan, Loic Bruni, and Steve Smith.
Yeah, Brendan Fairclough on course. This guy's been racing for over 11 years, 2002 national juvenile champion over there at Hopton, just about an hour west of where I live in Birmingham. There he is, he's kicking it out. Seems to be taking it easy at the moment, Brendan Fairclough. Riding on that Scott Gambler. One of his best results was second at the World Champs in Livigno there back in 2005. Was up there on Crabapple hits with Sven Martin going big on the whipometer. There's some great pictures from up there from last year. Brendan Fairclough, it's going to be outside Nick Beer's time. He's going to come through now. He will go big on that last jump, I guaranteed that. Riding on those flat pedals, Brendan Fairclough, he crosses that line. He goes 42nd place with a time of 3:05. Next up, Sam Blenkinsop.
Is that a chainsaw? That is probably not a good idea to have a chainsaw up there at Heckler's Rock. But anything goes at Heckler's Rock today, that's for sure. All right.
Right, this is Blenky. You can tell it's him. He hasn't got a pair of gloves on. The Lapierre rider who's won a World Cup.
Oh,
Here
look
he
at,
comes.
Look at this, Sam Blankensop. The time, 2:50.10. Sam Blankensop from New Zealand takes over the top spot. And Blanky right there also in the running for King of Crankworx if he can hold that top spot. So Blanky was second in the Garbo DH and then trying to hold on that top spot out here. Let's see if he can do it. But this looks like Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas. He's the Garbo downhill winner. He's also in the running for King of Crankworx. A good showing out here could cinch the deal for him.
Yeah, he was very lucky there, Brad. He slipped his pedal. I think he unclipped just before that road gap jump, and that could have been a disaster for him. He just about got his foot back on. But the Colombian rider here, 2:40 on the clock.
Time ticking away for Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas, the winner of your Garbo DH. Here he comes. Marcelo kicking it off the big kicker, coming across the time for him. A 2:59.5 third place for Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas.
Now, only 3 riders to do it. Marcelo, you see the right sleeve there. It's a UCI race. So he's got to wear his national champs jersey with the arm, with the side of the arm of his national champs jersey. Next up, Sick Mick Hanna. He's on course, and this guy knows how to pedal.
Well, Sick Mick Hanna was second last year in this very same race. Your defending silver medalist.
Yeah, last year, second place with a time of 2 minutes 49. He was 4.6 seconds behind Stevie Smith. He's in the running. He was up here earlier. He wants to do well today. What can he do? 2:35 on the clock. Sick Mick Hanna from Australia. He is on course.
All right, here comes Sick Mick Hanna. Where are my Mick Hanna fans? He's coming in on a flyer, going to hit this big kicker. This is going to be a good time, whipping it out on time of 2:47.90. Sick Mick Hanna taking the top spot here at Crankworx. Sick Mick Hanna, the best time of the day, 2:47.9. But remember, 2:44, that's what Steve Smith had last year.
Lote Bruni here. Raced the Gabonzo Daniel, had a puncture in that, was hugely disappointed. This is the guy that is predicted to be the top rider in the next 2 to 3 years. Junior world champion last year. What can he do? The Lapierre rider from France, he's got some great history. His dad was raced the Masters Worlds out there. He was world champion over in Pralup when I was over there about 5 or 6 years ago. He's also French national enduro motocross champion, his dad. Lote Bruni, though, crossing the line. The French rider is going to be outside Mick Hanna's time, more around the 2:50 mark. Lote Bruni there goes third place for the young gun. Expect big things from him over the next few years.
And then there was one rider remains. That rider, Steve Smith, in the attempt for the three-peat. He's won it back-to-back. He won all DH races last year. Took the nickname Triple Threat. Can he get the win out here today in the running for King of Crankworx?
Yeah, the crowd are on their toes. The Canadians are supporting this man. This is the home favourite, Stevie Smith, the Da Vinci rider. He's on his 26-inch rig. What can he do today? We know last year he did a time of 2:44. He was 4.6 seconds in front of the rest. Is he going to be the best today? We're going to find out in the next 10 seconds.
Here comes Steve Smith going for the three-peat. Steve Smith, he's pedaling fast over the last kicker. Rubber side down, bouncing across the line. First place, 2:47.81. Your winner right here for the Canadian Open. Back to back to back. Put your hands together for Steve Smith. Steve Smith, your winner, 2:47.81. Your winner, one more time, put your hands together for your Canadian Open. Going back to back to back, Steve Smith. Let's send it down to Jackie Montgomery with our winner. Jackie?
By 0.09 seconds, you take the win. Your third in a row. How good does this one feel?
It's got to be the luckiest run of my life. I just went into a tree, spun around, had a rundown of a section in the woods, and thought it was over from there, and just went max tilt, pissed off, and somehow still won. I don't know how. I'm so stoked right now.
How were you able to recover out of that and still come down with a fast time?
I don't know. I just hit the tree, and then it tossed me off, and I just kept running, spun the bike around, hopped back on, and yeah, just because of that, I just went way too fast after that and risked my life, so.
Is it sweeter the third time around?
Yeah, that's insane. I'm so pumped. Like, this is crazy. After that, I did not expect it, so holy crap.
Congratulations. Make some noise for him, Whistler. Steve Smith, your 3-time Canadian Open downhill champion.
I'll tell you what can't that guy do? Cy Payton, talk to me. Brett Tippy with his shirt off right there. But Steve Smith, man, amazing. He's done it 3 years in a row. And since this race started back in 2007, no one's been able to touch him. Steve Smith, the victor once again.
You know, absolutely great result. It's what the home crowd wanted to see. You know, no one could deny that. Stevie Smith, 2 minutes, 47.81. He said he's had a bit of a crash up there. We knew last year he won by 4.6 seconds, but your heart goes out to Mick Hanna. 0.09 off that little style on that last jump. Perhaps that will cause that. Sam Blenkinsop, great result for him in third place. Luke Bruni there, the junior rider. Expect to see him a couple of spots. And the man to be tackling Steve Smith over the next 3 years. Nick Beer, 6 times national champion. Marcelo Gutierrez there, winner of the Gabonzo downhill. I mean, that top 10 there, any of these guys could win it.
Indeed, man. That's how it's going to play out. We got the awards coming up for you guys. In the base down there, right at the finish corral, we're going to hand out the awards for all the amateurs. We'll also be handing out the awards for the pros. That is coming up. Well, couldn't get better than that. The Canadian winning the Canadian Open once again here at Crankworx Whistler. 10 years, day 10. The awards on the way. We'll be right back right after this.
Something cool is about to go down. Brought to you by the refreshingly cool taste of Bud Light. Light it up.
I think it's human nature to want to explore. To find your line and go beyond it.
The only limit is the one you set yourself. When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler.
He's trying to do what I don't think has ever been done in the history of Crankworx, and that's win all 3 DH races.
This is Steve Smith going for the 3-peat. Never been done before. Will it ever be done again?
Steve Smith has done it. He has won the Jeep Canadian Open D8. He won the Garbo D8, the Air D8. He's your Triple Crown Crankworx champ for 2012.
All right, Brad J here up in the booth. Cy Payton and Cy, what a race right there. Congratulations, Steve Smith, taking the big win, man.
Yeah, it's always great to see homeboy winning. You know, you want a Canadian to win the Canadian Open. No disrespect to any of the other riders, but, you know, that is always a dream come true. As I said earlier, I feel for Mick Hanna, 0.09 off. You know, such a shame for him to do that, but, you know, second place, still a great result.
No matter what. I mean, when you finish out there and you look at the talent that was out there, Sam Blankensop in that third spot, too. A good race by him as well. Didn't see the record get smashed out here today, but Steve Smith doesn't care because when it comes away, he's the winner. Canadian winning the Canadian Open. Got to feel pretty darn good right now.
Can't get better than that, can you, Brad?
Oh, you sure can. All right, well, I'm going to head down there. I got awards to hand out for all the amateur divisions, also the pro division. So, Si, I'm going to leave things in your capable my hands. You good?
Very good.
All right, man. All right, I'll see you in a few minutes.
I want to wake up every morning with a passion. I want to wake up with a smile on my face and be able to say I love what I do.
You can dream about it, or you go out and make it happen.
Right, welcome back. Brad J is just heading down into the finish arena at the moment. He's going to do the prize awards for the amateurs right through to the pros. So hang around for that. Make sure you give everyone a big cheer as we hand out the big prize checks and the trophies here for the Canadian Open. Today's Pink Bite poll question was your favourite part of Heckler's Rock. The most votes has gone out to any other stuff that we can't talk about. We can't really talk about what goes on at Heckler's Rock, I'm afraid. It's a bit like Vegas. What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. I don't quite know what goes on at Heckler's Rock. They don't allow me to go up there, but I tell you what, it's got to be one of the best places to go up there and spectate. The real atmosphere up there. What a great time, you know. So thanks to all those guys and girls up there, entertaining the riders, pushing them on, keeping them motivated, and I'm sure distracting a few other riders while they're up there as well. So hang around, we're going to go presentations very, very shortly. We'd like to thank all the marshals out there who help look after the riders, the commissaires from Canada Cycling, and everyone here at Whistler Bike Park, getting the riders up that course on time, all the lifties helping everyone out, getting the bikes on the lifts into the top of the course. So while we're waiting, we can go and have a little look back at Emily Rago's winning run from earlier on this afternoon. What a great time she did there after winning the Garbanzo downhill. Check this out on screen now. Here we go. We see her coming into that finish line. She goes around the outside, and we know she won the World Cup, turned up after a day of traveling, lost 3 hours sleep time due to the time difference. Running that lap, yeah, throws hands up in the air. She took a great win there by a good margin. Taking that win, she's going to rest herself for a week before then she heads off. Actually, I think on Wednesday she heads off to South Africa to prepare herself for the UCI World Championships. Make sure she's fully prepared for that. Get the bike checked over, get rested, and then head over. That's going to be a big old flight. She's flying into the UK. I think it's about a 12-hour flight to South Africa. Now let's have a look at the winner of the Pro Man, Stevie Smith's run on screen at the moment. Check this out. He said he's had a slight bubble on the course. There he is coming through Heckler's Rock, and the crowd were right behind him. Look at him, absolutely flying, putting the pedals down. Super smooth, even pedaling in midair, trying to get some extra traction, getting that momentum down to the bottom part of this course. And he won. You know, I don't think he believed it himself when he won. He looked a little bit shell-shocked when he crossed that finish line, but look at him into that hip. Still got enough power to put the pedals down, and that's why, at the moment, he is the hot favourite going into the UCI World Championships. And look at Mick Hanna, so disappointed. Not thrown it away, but just lost by such a small margin. He must be hugely disappointed with that. But Stevie Smith getting a well-deserved win. So there we got the podiums up there. What usually happens at these UCI races, the officials come out. We just have to, provisionally the results are out, just make sure there's no protests. So we have a 15-minute wait with the UCI commissaires just to check over the results, make sure nothing untoward's happened there, no complaints have gone in there. The results are posted up, they'll sign those off. Brooke McDonald down there looking like he's been fighting with one of the bears. Blood dripping, mud everywhere. He seems okay. I wondered where you got to, Brooke. Yeah, Brooke McDonald's gone down hard on that bike of his. Both elbows bleeding. Right, so away everyone. Awards are going to be up right after this. So Tristan, what a great week it's been. It's been 10 absolutely amazing days here at Crankworx Whistler. You know, we started off with the Enduro World Series on the Sunday, and what a great event that was. It showcased to the whole world. For me, not just the boneyard that everyone thinks is Whistler is famous for, but really the trails that go all around the side of the mountains here.
Yeah, very much so. Being out there as a competitor that day, just another day in my backyard, but so cool to see all these riders, international field, get to experience what's outside of the bike park. But of course, we started things off on Friday with that flat tire crit. Then we went into the speed and style. I mean, just every day is so action and jam-packed here at Crankworx Whistler. I mean, it's hard to believe we've already flown by through 10 days of non-stop action.
It's been that busy, I've hardly had a chance to ride my bike. That's the disappointing thing.
In all honesty, I seem to be riding less and less each year as this festival is growing and getting bigger. I just don't have time for it. I raced on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to getting back on the steed again tomorrow.
Yeah, but if you do plan yourself, to come out here, it is a great time to come out to Crankworx. Which a lot of people say to me, when I go back home, oh, isn't it too busy out there? But you know what? The lift guys, they get that lift running all day long from 10 o'clock right through to 8 o'clock. So there's always a queue sometimes in the morning, but you can have yourself a lunch break and you can ride till 8 o'clock at night. Now that's pretty unique.
Oh, that's why we're the best Whistler, the best park in the world. I mean, it's the #1 lift access place out there. It's why I call it home. It's why you guys all come here each and every year to experience what we have to offer.
Yeah, you know what? I've got to say, everyone has been so friendly, not just the locals, but all the riders. The medics out there, everyone in the hotels, the restaurants. It's such a good vibe when you come to Crankworx Whistler. Everyone's happy, everybody's bike friendly. That's not something we always see when we go back home. People over here, they really appreciate and they accept cycling. It's part of the blood over here. And if I can move over here and emigrate with the family, well, that'd be a very happy day for me.
Well, I guess my question to you right now, Si, is what was your #1 moment throughout the week?
I have to still keep going back. Well, besides me riding a few times. But the Ultimate Pump Track Challenge brought to you by RockShox. That down in the main square really did bring cycling to the masses. There's a lot of people here aren't really here just for the mountain bike, and they're here for a bit of a vacation. So they got to see that. There was 4,000 or 5,000 people down there. It was up on the big screens. And to me, that was true mountain biking. It's not really about the bikes or about the fitness of the athlete. It's really about the skill level. To see people like Mitch Roppolato, I know he only finished up in third, he was disappointed with that, but that was a real masterclass watching him ride a bike. That was a real education, and it wasn't just me, but everyone could really appreciate that, and they saw it live, the action in front of their noses.
Yeah, I mean, for me, definitely that Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. As a competitor, as somebody who lives here, rides all these trails, so cool to showcase it, show everybody different terrain there. So what an amazing week we've had. 10 days of action-packed, nonstop events here. So, and stick with us. We'll be right back with the awards right after this.
Something cool is about to go down. Brought to you by the refreshingly cool taste of Bud Light. Light it up.
I think it's human nature to want to explore, to find your line and go beyond it.
The only limit is the one you set yourself. When you were a child, your world was a block. When you were a teenager, the world held you back. Now, the world is your oyster. So get out there and crack it wide open. Jeep Wrangler.
He's trying to do what I don't think has ever been done in the history of Crankworx, and that's win all 3 DH races.
Steve Smith going for the 3-peat. Never been done before. Will it ever be done again?
Steve Smith has done it. He has won the Jeep Canadian Open D8. He won the Garbo D8, the Air D8. He's your Triple Crown Crankworx champ for 2012.
So welcome back. We are going to go presentations very, very shortly. We've got Brad J down there. He's going to be the master of ceremony. So he'll be presenting out there all the top amateurs from the junior boys right through to the pro man with Stevie Smith taking that top spot. So stay with us. We'll be going to that very, very shortly. We just have to make sure with the UCI commissaires it's all ticked off nicely. But, you know, Canadian Open, Heckler's Rock. Will we ever get a chance to go up there one day?
I think we need to send you up there next year. We were chit-chatting about how we had to send the girls up there. That was their first time, but so I think your turn might be next year. You need to go experience what is Heckler's Rock, and maybe you'll get your shirt off on the rock.
I'll get my shirt off. I might have to get the old ab roller out, get rid of this extra bit of flab. I've been treated well while I've been here at Crankworx Whistler, you know, so yeah, I don't mind that. As long as the sun's out, you know, us Brits, any sort of glimpse of a bit of sunshine up there, our tops will be off. We won't worry about that.
Tops off, sunscreen on, but such a great event, a legendary course. I mean, these riders keep coming back for it year after year, especially these World Cup guys. I mean, even though in the years past it hasn't been a UCI event, they come here, they really love the way that track flows, and it's as close as we have to a World Cup track here. In under 3 minutes, it pushes them straight out from the onset there.
You know, that's an interesting thing. We talk about World Cups. I know people have always said, you know, wouldn't it be great to see a World Cup race here? You could almost argue, you know, they don't need it. It's big enough already. It's the Canadian Open. It is here at Crankworx Whistler. It's a UCI Category 1 race. You can go another step more than that. You can call it it's a Category Horse race, which is the next step between a Category 1 and a UCI World Cup. So there is another level. It means more points, extra prize money allocation, but you know, they already top over that here at Crankworx Whistler. These guys are going to be walking away with a big fat paycheck anyway.
Yeah, Stevie Smith, another $10,000 in his pocket here this week, so he's got to be feeling pretty darn good. Just going on all that money that he won last year. But we know, I was chatting to him earlier this week, he's been eating his weight in sushi every day. He has a bit of a soft spot for that sushi village up there, some of the best in the world. So cool to see him do it, but only just got him there. I know Mick Hanna was on a bit of a flyer, and 0.09, that's not much. That's not much to throw a stick at.
Yeah, you know, Sick Mick, he's been paying his dues. He's been coming to Crankworx Whistler for a long time. So, you know, he was hoping for some good news on this one, and it was so close. And we saw the disappointment in his face as Stevie Smith crossed the line. His head went up in the air, his arms went up with him as well. He was hugely disappointed, and especially when you lose by only such a small margin, he's going to be kicking himself all the way back home.
Yeah, but he is one of the favorites going into the Worlds at Pietermaritzburg, South Africa there in the next week and a bit. He is that favorite guy. He's been focusing on that race, very specialist when it comes to that. And I'd say if there's out of 3 guys, you know, him and Greg Menard, he's one of the favorites going into that race. He's been training hard for it. He's been trying to set all the speed trap records at every round of that UCI Downhill World Cup.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, today as well, we've seen the likes of Bernard Kerr there riding that Pivot 27.5. It's very interesting to see what kind of bikes are going to be wheeled out. There's rumours of enduro bikes. I've been speaking to Jason Mars, Greg Menard's mechanic. Now, I can't say what's going on that side of things, but they've been talking a lot about technical specs of the bike, tyre choices, tubeless, inner tubes, etc. So they've been testing a lot. They've been out in tracks, and I can't say down in the south of France somewhere that sort of almost simulate the same style of track as at Pietermaritzburg. So you know, a lot of money is riding on this for the year ahead to wear that World Champs jersey. But at the moment, Stevie Smith, the Canadian boy, riding for Da Vinci Fox, Red Bull, he is the top man at the moment, winning the World Cup, coming here, winning the Fox ADH. I know that's not a World Cup track, but this is very similar to what we've seen today at the Canadian Open. So can Stevie Smith do it? Of course, I'd like to see the British riders do well. We've got the young guns like Lope Bruni as well. He's on fire at the moment, the young gun. He's almost unstoppable. A little bit more maturity, a little meat on the bones there, and expect to see him. I tell